Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, hello and welcome to the hottest show in the globe, right here on YouTube and every podcasting platform. The Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise, just indeed, clap it up, get excited, wherever you are. We are back, we are live, and we're here to have so much fun with you on today, and we're still counting down the days to the biggest event of the year with Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the Unified Heavyweight Championship in a rematch that is filled with anticipation. If anybody got to see the press conference that happened today, my gosh, we can expect potentially an all-time great affair between these two, because it was an outright barn burner of a stare down. It was one of the most intense situations of a stare down I have seen between two legitimate contenders in such a long time. And it begs the question now, shoot, this changes the show. What does this mean for the outcome of this fight? And have we potentially seen a shift in dynamic of what we're going to see out of Tyson Fury, what to expect out of the Gypsy King now being the underdog in this fight? All that, as well as we got Benavidez versus Morrel. Over the weeks, they've had media workouts together. They had to be separated. There was some brawls going on. Is this something that we need to look into as a legitimate concern when it comes to the mind games of Benavidez, and why, in fact, it is mind games at all when it comes to going against Morrel? As well as we got time, NBA Cup just happened. We have a new champion of the NBA Cup. Somehow, Darvin Ham is still getting titles to his name, even though he's a terrible coach. But the Bucks have officially won the second ever NBA Cup, beating the OKC Thunder, right now arguably the best team in basketball, let alone the best defense in basketball, period. My reaction to all of that and what this means going forward, and how the Bucks have been able to retool themselves and regroup and indeed overcome what seemed like an insurmountable odds at the start of a 2-8 season. Oh, it was horrible, but now looks great. But all that and more is going to be talked right here on this show. We got so much to discuss. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Please leave a like on the video. Oh yeah, comment your thoughts and opinions. Leave a like on the video, comment, thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Oh yes, indeed. And that show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together, and all thanks to you and your support. Jay Will, brother, how you doing? Glad you're here. Glad you're back. Glad you're joining in at the start of the show. Oh yes, indeed. You here right at the jump. See, I knew starting at 12:30 today was gonna be the best affair. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a time. Anybody tuning in, you can leave your comments in the chat below, and you'll be able to get heard, or rather get seen on the topic. And this is as much my show as it is yours. Again, I ain't gonna let you overtake it, but we're gonna have a situation, the championship rounds, when that comes into play. Oh indeed, we're gonna be able to talk about whatever you all want to discuss, whether it's in sports or even beyond. If I can talk about it, hey, I'll give it to you. If I can't, I won't lie to y'all. I'll say I ain't got a clue with the world. But we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna have some fun here regardless. So with all that being said, we got to talk. Wait, hold on, excuse me. We got chats after the thing. Let's see what you got to say, Jay Will, before we delve into the show. Dame, after winning, said, put respect on the thing. I'm an NBA champion. Now, see, I think you got Centelled. I think you got the old Centel treatment. I don't believe that was an actual quote. Now, if that is a quote, well, you know what? You are a champion. I gotta give respect is due. Now, it is an NBA Cup. It is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the end-all be-all. If he is indeed holding that as a legitimate high claim to fame, though it is indeed a high regard, oh boy. Oh my, stay off of Twitter for a little bit, because you might be getting roasted left, right, and center. I'll tell you that right now, but this is no disrespect. The NBA Cup is an incredibly competitive affair, and indeed winning it, especially beating OKC. Hey, we got to give props where props is due. Bucks are showing up. We're going to cover that later on in the show, trust and believe. But now we got to talk about boxing. Since we're talking about boxing, it's time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Round one underway. Let's get it started. Round one of the show. Oh, wait, excuse me. That's right. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of the show going on the way. Yes, indeed, we got a lot to talk about, specifically with Fury and Usyk. And hey, what's good about Fight Buzz TV? How you doing? Glad you're here. Glad you're coming through. Leave a like on the video if you would, to give us to help push us to the masses of everybody talking in the boxing and just the sports world as a whole. We already previewed what we're going to talk about. We are now discussing the world of Tyson Fury versus Usyk, and specifically in the press conference. Now, I will say, I didn't get to catch the entire press conference. I'll be completely blunt. I'll be blunt. I wasn't able to catch it right before I got on the show like I wanted to. I missed some stuff. In fact, I missed the whole talking point, sadly. So some of y'all might have to fill me in if you were able to see what was going on. I'm going to rewatch it after the show, but I don't want to leave you all waiting to see what I got to say about the whole situation. But what I did get to catch, when I was able to get it pulled up, oh gosh, the stare down. My word. Woo! 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 You want to talk about an insane level of intimidation and outright motivation by these two. Remember, if you saw the first stare down in the press conference for the last fight with Usyk and Fury, they were not even looking at each other. It was Usyk staring into the side of Tyson Fury's head, and Tyson Fury nowhere close to looking or even acknowledging Usyk's existence within the press conference situation. We were looking at a situation and saying, my word, my goodness, this brother he can't look into his eyes. He can't look Usyk in the face. And people were saying, brother, what's going to happen? How is this going to be? What will transpire as to the mental state of Tyson Fury? Now, we saw the fight. The fight was indeed incredible. Hey, Tyson Fury looked the best he had ever been, as I've talked about multiple times on this show. But when it comes to this situation, oh gosh, my goodness, you want to talk about a different animal and the same beast. In this situation, he might be a different animal and a different beast entirely, because you want to talk about outright ire. You want to talk about outright intensity. This was a stare down that, I repeat, lasted it lasted 10 minutes. This was a stare down that lasted 10 minutes. They were singing and doing production and songs with Saudi Arabia. It was phenomenal, cool, fun, and all the case may be. They had to cut to that in the midst of the stare down, and they kept going for 10 minutes up to the end of the performance. They had to put a rag in front of their faces in order to separate each other. This was a situation that has us drawing legitimate concern as to, well, not even concern, it's more so anticipation. And now, looking at Tyson Fury's mental state in this fight, it's got us questioning, shoot, did we underestimate what the world Tyson Fury was going to be when he got in the ring with Usyk? My word, my gosh, yes, and it's shoot, man. This makes me think when it comes to Tyson Fury, brother, he is indeed similar to the switch that he pulled when he fought Deontay Wilder and was like, no, I'm coming at you. I think we're seeing the exact same thing. I truly do. I truly do think that's the exact same thing. Put some respect on my nose. Okay, shoot. Well, hey, Jay Will, like I said earlier, if that's the exact quote, well, hey, he is a champion. We got to give respect where respect is due. Not the ultimate champion, but still, hard work to his name. But it showed you pair me up with the legitimate thing. I can still produce on the big stage, and this was indeed the big stage. So all credit to him. All credit to him. But what do you think about allowing? Oh, now this is a good question. Before we continue with the Tyson Fury thing, what do you think about, well, actually, I'll answer this after I get through with Tyson Fury. But what do I think about having beards in the boxing realm? Oh, trust me, I got some comments. I do have some comments on that, but I will revert back to that after we get on this topic, because we want to stay focused. We want to make sure that we keep informed. Oh, yes, indeed. We do got a show. I want to do it, and we can talk about more stuff afterwards in the championship rounds. But even still, when it comes to the mental state of Tyson Fury, now we're looking at him and we're saying, oh, this brother, he's coming out for blood. There is no situation where he is wary of the beast in front of him. He's looking the beast directly in his eyes. He is aptly and willingly showing himself to be consistently on the same page as you. Again, the stare down between them was 10 minutes long. They could not get separated. Every time Tyson Fury was getting pushed back by what it was Mauricio Sulaiman, by what it was his own team around him, but he indeed fought back into place. And now we have a situation where, shoot, he's hungry. He is hungry. Tyson Fury is hungry. Tyson Fury is driven. Tyson Fury has reached a new state of mind. And this looks like, again, it's all speculation. I've already given you my prediction. But this looks like Tyson Fury, who is indeed, whatever, when it came to the term silk pajamas, that has been coined around the boxing world. When it came to the situation of, has he lost the luster for fighting? Is he really Tyson Fury of old? Is he able to get back to that hunger that got him into a title situation in the first place, into a hunger that beat Klitschko, into a hunger that had him indeed as the tops in the boxing world? Even against Usyk, it was like, oh, he ain't built for this level of real driven motivation at this stage in his career. Some people were questioning that. But I will say, after what we saw today, after what we saw just about 10, 20 minutes ago, this Tyson Fury, oh yeah, oh no, this is what we want. This is what we aspire to be. This is a Tyson Fury, even beyond just talent. This is a Tyson Fury that can beat Usyk. It can happen. It can happen. Because now he's matching the same wavelength as Usyk. He is willingly staring directly into what has been his biggest failure. And he is more determined than ever, almost manic in the state of, I'm going to take you out. This is from a looks perspective. Now, this is phenomenal. Now, what this means for the fight in the ring, this could indeed signify that everything we've been saying that Tyson Fury is going to do, he is going to do. We were all speculating, well, maybe he'll come on the inside. Maybe he will try to push the base. Maybe he will try to be physical against him. No, there's no maybe about it. It's going to happen. We're going to see Tyson Fury indeed come at Usyk like a man possessed. This brother's going to try to legitimately take this man's head off. He's going to legitimately try to put an end to this brother. Usyk's going to be in this. If the mentality backs up what we feel the performance in the ring will be, especially what we see now from Tyson Fury. Oh, don't get it twisted. Tyson Fury's about to come out like a house on fire. He's about to come out like a man, not in terms of over exuding or making stupid decisions and trying to push the pace too much. He will come out and he will maul Usyk. He will attempt to maul Usyk. He will attempt to rough up Usyk. Not rough up. He will attempt to demoralize Usyk by not only being the bigger man, but by wanting to show this is not the beast that you faced before. He's trying to make a statement, and we'll try to make a statement in the ring. You're not the monster in this ring. I am. You're not. Wow, you beat me in this fight now. This is not the Fury that you beat. This is not the Fury that you overcame. This Tyson Fury, at least in Fury's mind, and what he's trying to perpetuate to the public, what he's trying to show Usyk, this Tyson Fury and that Tyson Fury. Oh, they're not the same Tyson Fury. They're not the same Tyson Fury at all. They're not. And hey, we want to talk about the beards in boxing as we discussed. Now where is it? Yeah, there we go. When we talk about the beard in boxing that we discussed, I don't like beards in boxing. Oh no, absolutely. I don't like the fact that there are beards. Now, I do understand that it is a natural layer of protection that can be put on you. And if you can grow it, sure. I'm not opposed to you having a beard. But when it comes to a Jake Paul type beard, when it comes to a big Caleb Plant type beard, or when it comes to one that's like, oh shoot, it's pretty legitimate in the amount of protection that it brings, I don't like that. No, there should be a standard that if you can grow a beard, grow it up until a certain point, because it's natural protection. It is your body that can do that. But up to a point, you can't. You got to cut it off. Like a Robert Elenius beard that is significant. I don't like it, because it provides. How do we say this? I'm not saying it makes it for an uneven playing field, but what it does do is take away a level of danger that for all boxers, it should be. There is a standard level of danger. Indeed. Against a power puncher, you shouldn't be able to all of a sudden, if you can grow a beard down the kingdom come, to save yourself from the power. It should be your talent and your ability to take a punch without anything that makes it so that, yeah, you can take it and you can still stand. If not, the punishment isn't because you couldn't grow facial hair. The punishment is because you couldn't outbox the opponent. And so, you shouldn't have it. But when it comes to Fury, but the reason why he's growing it now, maybe he'll cut it clean shaven. Maybe he'll keep it. Maybe they'll make him cut it. Hopefully they do, at least trim it down to a certain length. I think Teddy Atlas talked about 1 or 2 inches in length that it should be. But regardless of which, the brother looks like the man looks like Brandon Ingram coming off of the offseason. Because he looks like a caveman. Because he doesn't care. He's only been about the ring. He's only been about this fight. He's only been about this level of achieving against my biggest opposition. Because regardless of what he's wanting to say about this whole thing, he is indeed at the disadvantage in this fight. He is the man that's got to climb up to overcome a mountain that normally you're the mountain that you overcame. He is a man that is incensed, that is captivated by needing this win. It's obsessive. That's why he looks the way he looks. That's why the beard is all out of whack and it looks, again, so dingy, just crazy like, because he is driven. He can't eat, sleep, box, and think about Usyk and repeat. That's it. That's all he's been. He's been with his wife for like 3 months. He ain't talked to his wife. Reports. He's saying, himself is saying in reports. He ain't talked to his wife. He ain't talked to Drill. It's been isolation. Brother, he is hungry. My gosh, he's hungry. He is starving to get his level of revenge. Somehow, some way, it's got to happen. My goodness. And it's insane that we're looking and we're seeing Tyson Fury got to this level. And that's the biggest thing about this whole diatribe. And again, hopefully, Jay, will I answer your question? I don't like beards. It should be a certain length. But when it comes to Tyson Fury, the reason why he's looking the way he's looking, the reason why he's got this beard and big old thing is because he has gotten back to a point of hunger that we thought he may not ever get to again. I'm so serious. And Alex, brother, how you doing? Glad you're here. Glad you're back. Hey, I was meant to reach out to you last weekend. I couldn't do it, but hey, look, I'm going to contact you. I'm going to get in touch with you. I'm going to say hi and whatnot. Hopefully you're doing well. Glad you're joining in on the show. We got so much to talk about on this show. Trust and believe. Right now we're talking about Usyk versus Fury and the stare down that took place. And hey, Amani, what's going on? Yes, indeed. Glad you're here. Glad you're joining in on the show. And please leave a like if you would. Leave a like on the streams. We can get it hyped up for the masses to see, for the globe to be able to witness what we got going on right here on the Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch, and all thanks to you and your people and you and your this community, you and your presence here. Oh, it's making it possible. Yes, indeed. And we were so appreciative for it. But hey, yo, that stare down was intense. The stare off was intense. Did Usyk even blink? I'm telling you, I was waiting. He might have blinked whenever they cut the cameras. But before that, the brother looked like a stone cold killer. Both of them did. Both of them did. It was ridiculous. Again, a 10-minute stare down of nobody pushing back or nobody giving ground. The only time somebody backed off was Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury was getting pushed by WBC President Mauricio Suleiman, and his team literally clawed his way back to the face of Usyk to stand his ground. And brother, when they started talking, oh gosh, I'm telling you, this fight's built to be one of the best fights we've seen in the heavyweight. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I promise you, man. I promise you. It's built to be the very thing that we want when it comes to two of the best in the world. And this is the new atmosphere that Tyson Fury has unlocked about himself. And brother, I can't wait to see it. And what else you got to say? I think Tyson Fury, in terms of, excuse me, not Amani, Amina, I'm so sorry. Amina, it comes to a situation where you say, I think Tyson Fury will come out very aggressive, fighting with fear inside. Excuse me. Let me rephrase it. I think Fury will come out very aggressive, fighting with fear inside him. I think Usyk will hold his ground, come through a difficult few rounds, and then Fury will tire him out. Fold him. and then KO him. Oh, okay. So you think that we're going to see a situation where he, essentially in terms of Fury, in terms of Usyk, Fury will still have, even though he's perpetuating an outside perspective of I'm good, I'm on your level. You're saying that that won't happen. Usyk will hold his ground when Fury does try to come forward and use that weight, use that power, use that length, and also use the gravity of attacking the body to go and try to overwhelm Usyk. You think we'll see Usyk stand his ground. We'll see Usyk then make Fury fall to the same thing in the first time, make him get tired, and then make it so that he gets killed. Now, if that does happen, let me tell you something right now. We're going to see a situation, if we see, and this brings up another question, if we see Tyson Fury get knocked out by Usyk, we're having a conversation about Usyk being one of the greatest of all time. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. We're looking at a situation where, excuse me, my voice is drying out a little bit, but we're looking at a situation where Usyk is indeed now in a very, he's in a very different category now because of the fact that when it comes to Tyson Fury, the butter's never been knocked down. Oh gosh, excuse me, hold on. I'm gonna continue this. Let me take, so sorry. I'm gonna take a quick break. We're going to continue this conversation about Usyk and what this means if he does, in fact, knock out Tyson Fury. I need to take a quick break because I need some water. My gosh, my throat is killing me. I don't want to give y'all the fervor and fire that you all deserve. But give me 1 second. We're going to shoot. We're going to use the countdown clock as the clock to time this off. I'm going to give me 10 seconds. Let me get some water. I'll be right back so that I'm not messing up with you all. We'll be right back on the show with the Watch Report with me, John Lucas. Don't go anywhere, please. Just give me 10 seconds, and we'll be right back to talk about what this is going on, what it means for Tyson Fury and Usyk. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back right here on the hottest show and YouTube and every podcasting platform imaginable, the Watch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for sticking with me. My goodness, I'm so sorry. I had to take a break. I had to fix that. I was not trying to be. I was not trying to go and I couldn't take it. My voice was going out. It might not sound like it, but it was gone. Oh gosh, excuse me. I apologize. We try to keep this as professional as possible, but I had to make a change. I had to make a change. But again, we're back. Talking about Tyson Fury and Usyk, talking about the ramifications of if we do indeed, as Amina is saying, with the fact that he thinks that he'll see Usyk knock him out. If we do see Usyk knock out Tyson Fury, that'll be something that we've never seen anybody do in the career of Tyson. I'm talking about put him down and keep him down. Get the ref to stop the fight. Because his chin is legendary. His iron will is incredible. And what he's done, especially what we saw at this stage in his career, with what he did against Usyk in the first fight, it's a consensus, at least for me, that it's hard for me to say it's hard for me to say that Tyson Fury that showed up against Usyk doesn't handle everybody in the division. Everybody. Indeed. And so if he beats and let alone knocks out this Tyson Fury, but we talking about this man as indeed an all-time great heavyweight. Do we put him above the likes of a Klitschko? Do we? Do we put him above the likes of a Klitschko? Because right now, that's the Klitschko's still one of the greatest of all time. Klitschko again reigned for 10 years. Some would say that the heavyweight division was diluted when it came to that reign. But his dominance was still dominant. Again, 64 wins was, I think, like only, 2, 3 KOs? The only time he got beat and the biggest loss on his career was Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. That's it. One got outboxed and one got knocked out. So if he knocks out Tyson Fury and again stays undefeated, cleaned out the entirety of the boxing landscape. Every major name, almost every major name, he is beaten. Both at cruiserweight and at heavyweight now. And reigns supreme. Hey, it's a conversation. It's a conversation. The brother might be above Klitschko. And where he ranks in terms of all-time heavyweights, we're going to have a real conversation about that. I don't have the answer right now, but I will tell you this. He reaches that stratosphere, at least for me. He reaches that stratosphere. In the division, he becomes one of the greats. In this division, he becomes one of the GOATs. In this division, he becomes and transitions into the status of the pantheon of legends. If he does achieve this. He's already established as a phenomenal heavyweight, the best of this era. But of all time, oh boy. It's going to be fun to talk about. Trust and believe. But let's see. Fight Buzz, what you got to say? Highly disagree. Oh, okay. Highly disagree with Amina. Fury has never been knocked out. He takes flush punches from actual heavyweights like Wilder. Now, see, here's the thing. When you say actual heavyweights, he was hurt against an actual heavyweight. He called Fury a middleweight. He called Fury a person who isn't, doesn't, you too small, whatever the case may be. And you got rocked. Like, plain and simple. You didn't get put down like Wilder. You didn't get put down like Cunningham earlier in your career. We get that. But you were hurt. You were out on your feet. You were gone just standing up. Now, your incredible powers of recovery, you recovered and still finished the fight. But it was indeed you for 30 seconds. You were out and about. You were like a pinball machine. You literally touched just about all 4 ropes. Or at least you bounced around between 3 consistently. You made a triangle with the way you were staggering across the ring. That's inescapable. So we can't say that it's out of the possibility now. Because with a well-placed counter left hand, it put you down. We saw your face when you got hurt. You went out. You gone. There was a split second. You literally looked up at the lights while standing in the ring after that punch landed. For a split second, you were gone. I saw it clear as day. You were gone. And then you came back, but you were hurt, wobbled, discombobulated. Everything was going out of the way. Everything was out the way. It was all bad. It was all bad. Indeed, it was bad. And so, no, the capacity to hurt Fury is something that we didn't think was possible. Now, we can't put Usyk in a different category of, well, you're not as big as the average. You're not a Zhang, so you don't have as much power. You're not a Wilder, so you don't have that. But the capacity to be done is there. And yes, you're right, Fight Buzz. And here's the thing, Fight Buzz. I'm not saying that Fury got knocked out. No, he didn't. I'm not saying he hasn't been knocked out. Completely understand. We haven't seen that happen before against the biggest of big. But like I said, when I first talked about the aftermath of the fight, we've seen him cold hard put down against Deontay Wilder. We've seen him put cold hard one shot put down against Cunningham. We've seen him cold hard put down against another brother. Early in his career when he was coming up as a heavyweight. Again, he won. Absolutely. But the issue with this fight wasn't that, okay, yeah, you got knocked down and hurt, but you didn't knock me out. It's the fact that we had never seen Tyson Fury that much in danger since Deontay Wilder. And to a degree, you can argue that both of them were as severe as they could be with respective punches. And so if Usyk can do that to you, but not have as much power concretely as we know Deontay Wilder has, it is not out of the realm of possibility that the next time he gets that chance to put you out, if in fact it does come away, it can happen. If Deontay Wilder could box legitimately, would we not have even more confidence that when he had Tyson Fury down and hurt, it wouldn't be a situation where he wouldn't have got him out of there? Usyk now has shown he's got the capability to hurt Tyson Fury to, at minimum, just as a severe level as somebody like a Deontay Wilder. But he's got the boxing ability to be able to capitalize and execute and get the job done, which is something that Wilder could not do. And if Wilder can't do it, and then it's hard to say anybody can, but if Wilder can't do it, but Usyk showed that he's got the capability to do it, and he reached the same threshold in terms of I hurt you that Wilder reached and that other heavyweights reached but weren't able to achieve, but his talent is better than all of them, then it's not out of the realm to say, yes, Usyk can knock out Tyson Fury. And that's why we say if he can get that done, it would be something so incredible. Because it's not just about the fact that he rocked him or hurt him. It's the fact that he's the only person that has rocked Fury in the same way that he got rocked like Deontay Wilder. In terms of, my gosh, is this going to be it? And he's got the boxing ability, not just the power, to be able to go and get it finished the next time around if that comes into play. For me, it's indeed a possibility. It is not something that is so far-fetched that it can't happen. And I think if it does happen again, he'll finish the job. And so for me, do I have Usyk winning the rematch? Well, I went and talked about it in my previous stream. Shoot, we had an hour breakdown going through everything, and I do mean every detail possible as to what each needs to do. But I have to win this fight, Alexander Usyk. That's right. I got Usyk retaining, Usyk reclaiming, and Usyk still being the unified, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, and pound for pound, if he wins this fight, most likely pound for pound number one. Indeed, especially if it's in a more dominant fashion than the first fight. And the first fight wasn't dominant. It was incredibly close. I'm saying if he wins this and it's in dominant fashion, unlike the first fight, that was hotly contested, incredibly competitive, and one of the best undisputed heavyweight championship fights in history. But if he does this and does it in a fashion of, there is no question, my gosh, then it's solidified. He's number one pound for pound for me. If he wins, even if it's a close affair, then hey, you beat Tyson Fury 2 times in a row. You beat the best version, or arguably the best version, at least one of the best versions of Tyson Fury 2 times in a row. And you came out on top. Shoot, it's hard for me to put somebody above that at this stage. And we've talked about the credentials for pound on this show before, going through that same vein. And so, yeah, I got him winning. And I think it's going to be by unanimous decision. A close fight. But one that my opinion, the judges should see clearly wins. As well as, if he does knock him out, I think I said round 9, round 10. Because if we see the same track of Fury getting tired, and it's not the first rounds that I'm worried about. I most likely will see Fury win the first round. We'll most likely see Fury win the first half of the fight. I'm almost assured. Just like with the first one. And just like with what we saw when it comes to Fury and Usyk the first time around, he didn't win those first 3 rounds. Usyk won the first 3, and then Tyson Fury won, 4 through 6? And round 7, I think that's when the turning point happened. But either way, what the case may be, It was split 3-3. With what Tyson Fury found success with the first time, I would not be surprised if Tyson Fury outright wins the first half of the fight cleanly. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. But it's the second half stretch that's going to make the big difference. And that's where we're going to see whether or not Tyson Fury can either A, finish the job before that second half goes about and gets him out there and knocks him out, or B, whether he crashes and burns. And not in terms of, he just falls apart, but the same way he wasn't able to move like he needed to move, and the fatigue and the energy of Usyk was something that he could not match. In that sixth gear, when Usyk went to go and get it, he couldn't get there. We could see the continuation of the same situation that we saw with Tyson Fury the first time. Potentially, that's what we could see happen. That's legitimately what we could see happen. But let's see fight. Do you think this fight will be bigger at Madison Square Garden or Vegas, or do you think this is where these types of fights belong? So here's the thing. Again, we've talked about this in the past on this show. The Mecca, when it comes to the Mecca of boxing, the U.S. is the Mecca for the mega fights. Us and Wembley Stadium. Those two. It's the truth. Madison Square Garden. There's a Cowboy Stadium. A couple of places. I think we used to have fights up in the Rose Bowl at one point in time down here in the States, in the U.S. But yeah, it would indeed. For the U.S. audience, my gosh, it would be huge. Again, globally, this is indeed a big event. It is huge. But would it be, I'll say this. Because again, other people know numbers and know stuff better than me on that regard. What we talked about last time was that boxers come here to make and stake their claim. Canelo was huge around the globe. But once he came into the U.S., that is when everything really shifted for him to be seen as the darling and face of the sport as a whole. Point blank, period. And so you get made here, or you have a star fight here, or you have an all-time great fight in the States. It is a vastly different propelling point for the globe to take witness and recognize for. Not saying it's better or worse. I'm saying it's different. And the impact that it has is different. And so because of that, if this fight was in the U.S., you could argue, yeah, it might be bigger because it's Las Vegas, because it's Dallas Cowboys Stadium, because it's in Madison Square Garden, or whatever the case may be, out in California, up in New York. Those big Mecca events and attractions, yeah, there's argument, yeah, it would have been bigger. And it's still already big right now because, it's, again, $190 million is on the line as the purse bid, with Usyk getting the majority as the winner of the first fight, and Fury getting the other cut, or the smaller cut, but it's still a major cut. But I mark my words, it would have been major. Absolutely insane what it would have been if it was here in the States. But it's because of the impact that the States has on the boxing climate. It's the nature of the beast. Boxers have said that this is where you make and stake your claim as to you've arrived, who you are, and you are now the biggest star. And the biggest fights generally got made here. Again, you have Nigel Benn and Chris Eubanks, the senior, not junior, fight British records. AJ versus Fury would be British records. No question. And globally, oh yeah, boxing is the biggest sport globally than in the U.S. But in the U.S., if you make big fights happen, the buzz will indeed be there. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr., when they fought in the States, brother, it was huge. It was insane. People still talk about that fight around the globe. And most of the marketing was strictly in the U.S. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I would argue, yeah, it would be arguably bigger, or at least more, bigger from a standpoint of more on the consciousness of the public, of the sports world. It would be. I think it would be. Because remember, again, I live here. I can't speak for what I see outside. out in Mexico or in the U.S. or the case may be. But when Fury fought Deontay Wilder, they were on First Take. They were on ESPN. They were doing tenures around, not just around the globe, but around the U.S. specifically. And it got buzz attracting. It got people hyped up. It got people wanting to see. And it was one of the biggest talked about fights in the world. Global. Everybody was trying to tune in to see what the world was going to happen. It was indeed. Even with the third fight. That was after Wilder got absolutely destroyed in the second one. The buzz was there. The hype was there. The fear of, not even the fear, the unpredictability and the excitement of the event was there. Because how it got marketed. And that's in part because of where it was marketed at, the United States. Now, if the U.S. marketed that fight in the same vein, if they talked about it in the same vein on ESPN, if they had interviews with Usyk and Fury on ESPN, and they had shows and talking points on ESPN, on CBS, on Fox for the U.S., potentially we could still reach that same level of excitement, of hype, of consistent drawing power for everybody in the States as well as abroad to be able to want to see happen. But right now, at least in the States, it's not as hyped up. It's not as exciting. Though the boxing world wants to see it, it's not as much of an event here as it is everywhere else. And so, would it be bigger? There's potentially an argument that, yeah, it would have been bigger if it was here in the States. But at the same time, the States are not the end-all be-all, though we are a mecca for boxing and big events. And so, if it was, I'll argue this. If it was in Wembley, if it was happening in the heart of Britain, if it was happening at the mecca for Britain or Europe, we could have a different conversation. But because it's happening again in Saudi Arabia, I'm not saying it still it takes away from the hype. But what it adds, because it's not where a lot of the mega fight fans are, to some degree it may take away the sting of, the grandeur of the moment. They're fighting, but they're fighting in Europe. They're fighting in Britain. They're fighting in Wembley. It's like through the Manila. The venue, the location, and the event itself is what helps make the fight so radical. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the truth. You used to have people sitting 60 or 70,000 people inside of stadiums in the U.S. alone, let alone out abroad. And so the location helped make the event as big as it was. It's again, boxing is a multifaceted factor in making it great. Everything makes the moment. Everything surrounding the moment makes the moment, as well as the moment in and of itself. And so because of that, location of the fight helps impact how that fight is perceived. And the memorability of that fight, the grandeur of that fight, the significance of the fight, at least in the build up to it. Now, afterwards, the fight itself is still the biggest thing that matters. The fight itself is still the biggest thing that impacts what our recollection will be. The fight itself is what dictates how that memory will be stored. But it could be bigger if it was in a different spot. I will say that. But I'm not mad because we're getting the fight. That's the thing. I'm not mad because we're getting the fight. We're getting the event. That's the biggest thing. We can worry about location later. Let's get these fights consistently first. Then worry about, hey, Turkey al-Sheikh, since you're putting all this stuff together, can you push it to the States a lot more? So we can be where the fans want to see it, they can see it directly instead of having to go travel so far away. The money will be there, grandeur will be there, everything will be there. But it's got to be. Let's get the fights first, which is what I'm worried about right now and what we're getting right now. Then after that, we can have a conversation about where it should be later. But at least we're getting them. That's the biggest thing I care about at this point in time. And I'm thankfully it's happening. And so yeah. So hey, fight, but you saw the Munguia fight last weekend. It was a weird, crazy upset. Yes, it was, and it was indeed. And I'll touch on that real quick. But hey, Jay Riggs, brother, I got it right this time. Yeah, I got it right, Jay Riggs. Yeah. I ain't forget. I ain't messing up again. Yes, indeed. In fact, since I ain't messing up, you should leave a like on the video, leave a like on the stream, so we can get this pushed out. Yeah. I hold up my end of the bargain. I'm adapting. I'm trying to be the best I can be. So hopefully you're helping support as much as you can. And you being here is all well and good, and I appreciate you coming in. Yeah. And so it's all good. You in and out for a few minutes to do what you got to do. You ain't got to comment. Just the fact that you here, listen to it on the job. Tell your people to listen to the show as well, whoever's around you. Oh, yeah. You ain't got to be in and out because everybody will be in on the same page, wherever you're working, wherever you're sitting and abiding by. Trust and believe. Nobody wants to miss what we got going on right here. But yeah, quickly on the Munguia fight. Talking about what happened with Munguia last weekend. Oh, we covered it and we talked about it. Brother, this showed again it validated what I had said in the past, that Canelo carried Munguia late in the fight and didn't knock him out, not because he couldn't, but because he didn't want to that young fighter. Talked about it in the post-fight press conference. This fight, it was a fight that, mind you, Munguia was dominating. Munguia, the shock was the fact Munguia was winning. Munguia was winning. You had the odd counters from shoot, I can't. Is it Socrates? I believe I'm saying. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right. You had the odd counters from Socrates, and you had the odd situation where, he's getting some shots off. Hey, shoot, everything's all well and good, but the brother only had 4 KOs, though he was undefeated. It was a situation where, the power shouldn't be a differentiating factor, but it now shows consistently that boxing is a situation. One punch can indeed end it all. One punch from anybody, land it right. I don't care how much power you have. It can end it all in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, we got other people is it Valero? Hopefully I'm saying it right. Excuse me if I'm wrong. From Valero Refinery. Oh, my gosh. Oh, you listen to him or not. Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, look. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Valero Refinery. Glad we got listeners across the globe and across the board. Hey, tell them, hey, if they're placing bets on the thing, please, 1, gamble responsibly. And 2, if you're using my knowledge, pay me. That's what you need to do. Pay me, doggone it. Give me my check. Give me my money. If you're making some moolah for what I got to say, brother, I need my restitution. I need my compensation. This ain't free. All funny. It's all in jest and all in fun. Appreciate you all listening to what I got to say. Thankfully, hopefully I'm doing my part into being as reputable and as entertaining and as knowledgeable as possible. You ain't gotta agree. It's perfectly fine, but everybody's welcome to learn, laugh, love, and indeed grow in the sports world, whether it's in boxing or outside. So I appreciate you all, the whole refinery, legitimately, for taking our time. So shout out to you all, indeed. But again, Fight Buzz, answering Munguia. Munguia was winning the fight. Munguia was landing shots, going to the body, seemingly learning from Canelo and attacking the basement, attacking downstairs, using his forward aggression to continue to land where available. And it seemed like he was dominating the fight. But the brother, we talked about his defense before. We talked about his defense versus Canelo leading up to the fight. Defensively, he's not great. He's an offensively centered fighter. His offense is his defense. That's not bad. That's his style. But it is bad when it comes to now what you are susceptible to. And the very thing about having a chin, having the ability to take a punch, it is still valid. It's not that he ain't tough. But brother, when you get caught clean, you get caught clean. It's just it's the fact of life. And now he is on a road to redemption. As high as he was when it came to the outlook on his career, going 10 rounds with Canelo and putting up a respectable performance, a fight that we all remember. Yeah, that was a good fight. That brother came to play. He just wasn't better, but now he came to do what he could do. Young lion going up against the old lion. The old lion schooled the young lion, but the young lion showed, I'm ready to get better. I'm ready to fight. I'm willing to fight. I won't let myself just lie down like with Jamel Charlo, one of the Charlos. And wherever they are, I don't know what's happening with them specifically. That's a whole nother conversation. Will they fight? Won't they fight? Are they training? Are they not training? Are they booked for another event? Are they not? I don't know. But that's a whole nother conversation. But when it comes to Munguia, the brother was seen as he's at the heights of reaching stardom. He was already a great competitor. He had a great record. Had power. Had an entertaining style. You know, going up against Canelo. Canelo giving him the nod. Oh, yeah. Everybody was excited. Now he's back at the breaking point. He is back at a situation where he is looking to not fall off. And with boxing, sadly, this is where we are at as a sport. One loss is bad. A loss against a contender, it's still a loss. But it's not viewed as bad because you lost against the best of the best. But now if you get upset, brother, there's a problem. Oh, boy, there's a problem. There is a problem indeed. And trust me, people are going to have to say his career, for a lot of people, it's on the rocks. But hey, Jay Riggs, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you pulling through. Appreciate you showing up for the channel. And so this is a situation where we trying to grow. We trying to make it happen. You come in and you watch what you can watch. As long as you're supporting and you like what we got going on, we appreciate all the same. So get back, or not get back to work, but go and enjoy your work. Keep getting paid. And hey, we're going to be back here every Tuesday and Wednesday. And in fact, we may even have a live stream for the Tyson Fury fight if I can get it working properly. Oh, yes, indeed. If we can make it happen, we'll make it happen. And we'll put the whole posting channel, all that stuff, whatever the case may be. We'll have it out for we're going to do it. But either way, hey, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you tuning in. But now when it comes to the conversation of Munguia, if we're going to branch to that way, I want to hear from you all. When it comes to Munguia and his career at this stage in conversation, what is it that you think is going to transpire with him? Do you think that he is indeed now irredeemable goods? Do you think that it is now a situation where he can't do anything? Is it now a situation where you think that he won't be able to, the hype of him was a fluke in some people's mind? And now the brother isn't what we thought he was going to be. Hence, he'll never be a champion at 168. Hence, he'll never be able to do and accomplish what we thought he could accomplish at this new weight division. Potentially. I'm saying there's a lot of swirling ideas when it comes to Munguia. The question is, how do you feel about it? I would love to hear your thoughts and your answer, but let's see. When it comes to Fight Buzz, well, let me tell you this, bro. Munguia called in for help. Munguia called in for help from a trainer named Mastro Lopez, very well known in Mexico. But he had disagreements with Eric Morales and got fired. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. So he had a trainer that was respected, well known, and could have and was doing the work to make Munguia a better fighter. But then, because of the disagreements with Eric Morales, he got fired. And that potentially stunted his growth. Is that what you're saying transpired in the fight per what you understand? Because again, this is news to me. I'd love to hear it. And I'll vet and back up everything after the stream. But hey, yeah, we'll see what happens. But if this is true, yeah, okay, so he said it. Okay, so he said it in an interview that Morales never corrects his defense and wants him to be all offense. Oh, okay. So shoot. So if I'm reading this correctly, Mastro Lopez was trying to make Munguia a better well-rounded fighter. But the fact that he was saying that Morales never corrects his defense and is only all offense, which is something that shouldn't be happening. Again, if I'm saying this correctly. That's where the odds came about, and now he got pushed out. He got fired. It's like, now you can't be in this vicinity spewing that type of rhetoric about the great Eric Morales. Now, that is happening. My gosh. My goodness. Shoot. So for Fight Buzz, since that's the case, do you think that after this loss, he will bring back Maestro Lopez? Do you think that's going to happen? Again, in your opinion, because again, this is news to me. This is a realm that I'm eager to find out. Because would it be that Lopez was the missing ingredient for the evolution of Munguia to reach the heights that we thought he could reach? But now that he went against Eric Morales and got essentially pushed out and fired, as you say, this ultimately backfired on the development of Munguia. Because, I mean, if that's the case, shoot, my gosh, my word, my goodness, they shot themselves in the foot. Genuine. They shot themselves in the foot if that's the case. If that's the case, they shot themselves in the foot, and Munguia wouldn't have potentially, again, if I'm reading this correctly, Munguia potentially wouldn't have had this type of problem and wouldn't have had a one-punch KO loss against a fighter with 4 KOs. It wouldn't have happened if Lopez had been able to stay with Munguia, stay on the team, stay with training, and stay with the development of Canelo Alvarez, or not Canelo Alvarez, stay with the development of Jaime Munguia to further evolve him from what he learned from Canelo. Shoot, my gosh, see, this is boxing politics. Both the good and the bad all affect everybody. It's not just about business. Internal struggles within camps as well. The politics of boxing. It's a multi-layered affair. And it can hurt. In some ways, it can rip away what should be a great developing tool, a great developing piece, a great ecosystem around you to be able to make you as a fighter what you need to be. Whatever it's again, it's a shoot. That's all I got to say. My gosh, this is new development to me. I did not know this. I did not know this at all. And so shoot. Yeah. And let's be perfectly frank. That's kind of how it came about. Munguia was that's not a lie. Like what he said wasn't a lie. Munguia is all offense. Munguia doesn't have any defense, doesn't correct it either. So Lopez being in like could have been way better. Munguia being in would have been way, excuse me, I said that wrong, excuse me. Lopez being in the camp could have been the very thing that needs to be done. But let's see. Not sure, bro, but he needed another trainer. Yeah, he do. Maestro Lopez says Morales doesn't do anything for him as far as mitts or anything. He needs, okay. So Eric Morales isn't working at all in terms of he is feeding a type of style. Or rather, he has built an offensive style, but doesn't feed it to nurture it and develop it like it needs to be, willingly leaving holes to force him to be all offense. And even in his offense, isn't working with him correctly to be able to maximize his ability. So yeah, no, that's a problem. No, that's an outright problem. That's a bold-faced problem. That is, in the words of JR.
Hey, look at us. We got some problems here. We got some problems here.
Yeah, no, that we have a problem. That is indeed a problem. Oh, that is indeed a problem. It's an outright problem. If that's the case, yeah, Eric Morales, if that is indeed true, you shot your fighter in the foot. You willingly, not understanding that there is a lack in your game plan that hurts your fighter. Not letting somebody that sees it, calls it out, and helps make it happen. You're messing up. And see, and I get it that you don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen. I get that you don't want to have a situation where you got too many people telling a fighter something that shouldn't be happening. I get that you don't want a situation where you are making a fighter overwhelmed or too many people think they're the leader in the squad instead of working as a cohesive unit. There needs to be one person, for the most part, for most teams, one person as the leader of a training unit. Customado was the leader. He also had Teddy Atlas and he also had Kevin Rooney. Each of them hit on a different point, but all of them helped make up the peekaboo style and nurture and mold Mike Tyson into the menace that we saw him as in his prime, as one of the greatest heavyweights in history, one of the greatest fighters in history, period. So no, you need that. And if pride is too much for you to the point that you don't allow that to happen, but yes, indeed, that's a problem. Oh, that's a major problem. So yeah, if anything, now Munguia better go to a different trainer. Because if Lopez called it out and then you got caught with the very thing he called out, brother, and your own coach didn't fix that or didn't tell you that was a problem, yeah, that's a problem. Oh, yeah, no, you need to go. You need to go. If this is indeed true, yeah, he needs to go. Or at least you need to bring him in now. At least you need to bring Lopez in right now. Either bring him in on your team and make him the lead, or in fact, leave Morales outright. He's got to. Because if he doesn't, but it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a major problem. And hey, Mapai, glad you're here. Glad you're back. Glad you're joining in back on the show. Yes, indeed. Please leave a like on the stream so we can keep this going and get it elevated to the wide array of people on the YouTube platform, and as well on every podcasting platform when we post this on YouTube or when we post this on Apple, Spotify, and whatever podcasting platform you may use. Oh, it's there for the picking and you can listen to it right here. But please, hey, glad you're here. What's up? How you doing? Ready for my bad English thoughts? Brother, your English is perfectly fine. It's all well and good. If we have trouble, we'll work through it. But please, don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to talk through it. If something gets jumbled up, hey, it's all good. We'll work to figure it out what's being said. Absolutely. But right now, your English is looking great. It's been great all the other times that you've been commenting. So, hey, props to you. Absolutely. I'm just glad that you're here. I'm glad that you think somebody like me is worth your time listening. You know, it means the world to me, and I will continue to do my best to provide and speak clearly and make it as easily understandable, but as in-depth and with as much detail as possible. Whatever we talk about in the boxing world and beyond, so that you can be able to be informed, have fun, understand, and enjoy. We'll accommodate the best we can. But trust me, your English is perfectly fine. But I can't wait to hear what you got to say on whatever we got to say. But we have to continue with the show because we got a whole other topic we need to discuss when it comes to the world of boxing, and that is David Benavidez. Oh, yes, indeed. We got to talk about it. And David Benavidez and David Morrel in a weak field, when in weeks filled with multiple situations of not just upsets, but indeed kerfuffles, butting heads, essentially going at it with each other, stare downs and galore. Let's not overlook that in February we got a hotly contested match with David Benavidez and David Morrel, with two of them indeed going for the throat. Oh yes, indeed they are. Did anybody get to see the pushing and shoving match that they had with Morrel not essentially, literally throwing his title at David Benavidez? I ain't never seen that before. Oh gosh, that's new to me. And if it happened before, I just missed it. But my word, talk about a hot-blooded issue. This is turning into a rivalry real quick, as more than just two of the best going up against each other. This is going to be a great event. That's going to be a great fight. But I'll tell you this right now. This could be. I'm not saying it is. Again, this is speculation. This is not something that is concrete. But with David Benavidez, could be using the opportunity to get under David Morrel's skin, to further push him outside of the game plan of being technical. Not saying David Morrel is he's a great fighter. Technically, I got to look a little bit more into him, whether or not he's got the good or great technical ability. But as a fighter, oh yeah, no, he's great. He's good. Still one of the biggest threats to somebody like a David Benavidez. Still was in the conversation early on in his career with Canelo. He was in that threshold. Though now he's in the ring with Benavidez, we all feel, at least I feel, that Benavidez is going to be able to beat him. We feel and I feel, well, maybe not we, I feel that Benavidez is going to be the man to win the night. But with David Morrel trying to be so much, hey, Benavidez is pushing buttons, you're matching his energy, but at the same time, there's situations like in this one where you are now, you're reacting rather than being the one the reactor. Does that make sense? Essentially, to paraphrase or make it even easier to say, so I'm not jumbling my words. With David Benavidez getting Morrel acting out, getting him to the point where you're throwing your belt, throwing your title, getting it so that, hey, you're talking. Though this is what David Benavidez does. Benavidez could use this to potentially get David Morrel more out of his gameplay and make him lose the very thing that needs to be done in order to beat somebody like a David Benavidez. And that is losing the ability to think inside the ring. We could be seeing a situation where David Benavidez is making it so that on this big profile of a fight, bigger than anything that we've seen Dave Morrel ever be in, the excitement and the fervor and the fire, I've been calling you out. I've been wanting you. I've been wanting to get at you for the longest time. That's what Dave Morrel's been doing against David Benavidez. Now that you're in it, the hyped up energy, the anticipation, I got you, I finally got you, that level of adrenaline and excitement now can be used against you. And it may be used against him by David Benavidez. And with what we're seeing from him, talking and getting him riled up, talking and shoving him, talking and initiating. Almost every time that you've seen it, Benavidez has been initiating the back and forth, initiating, using his mouth, initiating the angst and the poking and prodding to get Morrel to go and push the envelope even more. Now, all of this on the night of the fight could be done so that we get David Benavidez to get Morrel exactly where he wants to be, which is, we know it's going to be an infighting war. We know it's going to be a brawl. But even in a brawl, you have to be sound in thinking. Not just, I'm going to get you out of there. You got to be able to compose yourself in the midst of that raucous fire that is a war. And with Benavidez, he knows how to do that. Morrel, he's been doing that. Yes, understandable. But at this stage and at this level, it's not always the case that it's as easily controlled. The internal fire of wanting to get somebody out of there. And now with Benavidez on top of the experience inside the ring and dealing with a cavalcade of characters and mindsets outside of the ring as well, that Morrel has never anticipated or never been in contact with. That quote unquote old dog experience, even though Benavidez ain't old, that could be something that we're going to see on the night of the fight. All this rah-rah that I got you hyped up for, all this stuff that, yeah, we're both talking. This is still genuinely me, because I've done this against every other opponent I've been in. I've talked my smack. I've talked my work. I've done my due diligence to say what I'm going to do to you and make sure I do it. Absolutely. But against somebody else who's meeting you with that same energy, it could be an underlying game that Benavidez will be playing that will make it so that when Morrel steps in the ring, you're too hyped up now. You got too much anticipation. You got too much going on that will cause you to, when it's time to produce and meet me in the center, which they will meet. Now, you're so gung-ho about the finally I got my opportunity that you can't control yourself in the space to capitalize on said opportunity. Genuinely. And don't let it be that you're getting beat and now I'm talking smack. Now, everything I've been saying and all this vitriol I've been spewing at you and that you've been so fervently trying to get back at me with. Now, hey, didn't I tell you I was going to do this? Didn't I tell you getting bloodied up? Didn't I tell you you weren't going to be able to hang with me? Didn't I tell you you're going to have to back up? Didn't I tell you I'm going to break your jaw? And look at you now. What you going to do? Where's all that bravado? Where's all that hyped up energy? Where's all that willingness and ability that you said you were going to use on me? Where is it? Huh? That's what's going to happen. And when that happens, the psyche of the man and the depletion of the technique as the damage wanes, submission is the only solution. At that point in time, your only choice and your only out is to succumb, both internally and physically. Because now the mental state is compromised and the physical state is damaged beyond repair. And that's going to be the best. It's going to be the ticket to get him out of there. At least for me. It's going to be the ticket to get him out of there. Absolutely. At least in my opinion. But hey, as the fight goes on, we will break down that fight as February draws closer. We will do a full breakdown and full prediction on what that is. And we're going to be able to interact with you, whether you agree or disagree. It's going to be a great time. Absolutely. But again, we got more comments. And now we are in the championship rounds. Well, actually, no. Yeah, we're in it. We'll go through it right now. Let's do it. Let's do it, shall we? We're in the championship rounds, ladies and gentlemen. I've talked about just about everything I was going to discuss quickly when it involves the NBA. I'll quickly touch on that. Giannis won. Bucks won the cup, beat OKC, phenomenal tenure, phenomenal championship run. Now we get to see when it comes to Giannis and Dame, they have adapted and overcame and actually achieved great heights and phenomenal affair. And again, Ricky, I'm about to get to you, but real quick, let me go and let me say this NBA thing, because I did tease it at the start before we fully delve into the championship rounds, where anybody and everybody can talk about anything and everything. So go on and put your questions, your comments in the chat of what you want me to discuss, because this is now you all's segment of the show. But quickly touching on the NBA real quick. Giannis and the Bucks won the NBA Cup, beat OKC, best team in the NBA right now, arguably the best team in the NBA right now, on par at least with the Boston Celtics, and definitively the best defense in the NBA is OKC, and one of the best offenses outright, led by MVP caliber candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, averaging 32, 6 and 5 on the year with a young roster that's with Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Now they're looking to make some major noise, and they have been making noise, but now they fall to the Bucks, who is a great redemption story, because the Bucks were seen as an outright dumpster fire. They were 2-8 at one point in the season. All of a sudden, they turned it back around. They are now 12-2. Ever since they've had everybody back healthy, Chris Middleton's back. The Taurean Prince is shooting 40% from the field. Right now, the best three-point shooter from a percentage standpoint in the NBA today. And Brook Lopez is looking like his old self again. Everything's clicking for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they are now NBA Cup champions. Job is finished, in the words of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Job's finished. So now that all this bodes to ask the question real quick, what does this mean for Giannis and the Bucks? And now we can say they're back in the hunt for a title. They're back in the hunt of looking like a team that was where we thought they could be, which was being a legitimate championship contender in the East. They're back to being a top 5, top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, and the top 5 team in the NBA outright without even producing thus far. Dame and Giannis performing phenomenally. Giannis is right now second, in my opinion, for MVP, with him averaging, 33 and 12, 32 and 12. Hasn't shot below 60%, or hasn't shot below 50% all season long. It's stupid what he's been doing. One of his best defensive years and in one of his best offensive years to date. Dame averaging 25 to 30, being able to be so adamant with his ability to produce and perform on such a grand scale. Especially now with the duo, when we thought, oh man, maybe you were a lie out of Portland, and you, like with a certain Russell Westbrook, if you're by yourself, you can produce, but with another star, you can't be as dominate, especially if you are the secondary star. If you're not leading the show in any capacity, maybe Dame ain't what we thought Dame was. But now there's a bold-faced lie, and Dame's producing, Dame's performing, Dame's phenomenal. The whole team, defensively and offensively, is great, and they destroyed OKC in shocking fashion to win the cup. And now we just have to say, when it comes to beyond the arc, I'm not going to admit that Darvin Ham as an assistant coach, maybe he's in a better role, but he's still a bump. We were all saying that Doc Rivers amongst this team and amongst teams in the past isn't still not great. And he isn't. But here's the thing. We got to give respect where respect is due. Whatever the track record was for both Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers, which was valid and true, that they were not great coaches. At least Darvin Ham was a bum of a coach and is a bum of a coach as a head coach. And Doc Rivers, when he has a team around him that should be able to succeed in multiple occasions, doesn't succeed and falls flat. All that is still true. But now, we have to say things are looking up. We could even say that in spite of Doc Rivers and in spite of Darvin Ham, they're looking like a well-oiled machine on the backs of Giannis and Damian Lillard. We could say that. As time goes on, if we continue to see this team as a whole move like a well-oiled machine, and we do see them responding to coaching, we do see them adjusting accurately from the headquarters of Doc Rivers. And we see that coaches have actually working and making their due diligence throughout the entire season to actually, we are a good tandem. I'll give credit where credit is due. Objectively, still, Darvin Ham is a bum of a coach. I don't want to give him credit. Looking like a bald Caillou. I don't want to give a buff Caillou. I don't want to give that brother credit. Because I know at his core, he is not a great coach. As an assistant, maybe something different. As an assistant, maybe it can be something. Maybe if he was an assistant with the Lakers, maybe it could have been a different story. You wouldn't see as bad rotations. You wouldn't see as bad of a legitimate game plan. Did I tell you what? It definitely ain't Doc that's making this offense go. Or excuse me, it definitely ain't Darvin Ham making this offense go. It ain't Darvin Ham that's putting these defensive schemes together. It ain't that. It's got to be Doc. It's got to be. And he's just giving Taurean Prince some support because he loves Taurean Prince. I'll go that far. Again, I don't like the fact. I love the fact that Dame and Giannis are successful. I hate the fact that Darvin Ham and Doc are successful. Because both of them routinely fall flat and they never produce because they are not great when it comes to making adaptations and developing players. You can have Doc as more experienced, but of recent and of his track record of quality teams, like with the 76ers, like with the Clippers, like with, even after Boston. He wasn't able to be produced. And yes, see, you can call me a hater. That's perfectly fine. Again, I said I will change my tune if this keeps up All-Star break and beyond. I said track record of Doc Rivers and the track record of Darvin Ham shows me that and initially it was looking right. They are not the coaches for this team. They are not the best coaches for this squad. Darvin Ham, you've seen as a Lakers coach, as objectively. It was, if you watch the games, they were producing in spite of Darvin Ham and his lack of ability. It was known that Darvin Ham had lost the locker room. Darvin Ham had lost a lot of things. He had lost a lot of things, absolutely. The Lakers still succeeded and got to the conference finals and to at least the playoffs in spite of him. And no, see, no, you're not doing this. You're not doing this. Y'all ain't doing this. Y'all ain't about to do this. Y'all ain't about to do this. No. Y'all are not. Mapai, that's a great question. I can answer it to you right now. Y'all are not about to call me. You can call me a hater. Cool, fine. I'm going off of history. And I'm going off of production. I wouldn't say that if it wasn't real. Now, you're not about to say that, I'm riding JJ. No, I'm not. JJ, offensively for the Lakers, has made them look better. Defensively for the Lakers, he's made them look hard. You still got D'Lo. You haven't told D'Lo or gotten into D'Lo's head that brother needs to stop leaving people behind. Even with them being injured and hurt, with Vando, we don't know when the world that brother's coming back. That brother, Vando's been out for 2 years and got fluid in his knee. He's been having fluid in his knee. I don't understand what's going on with him. Christian Wood is out. A couple other people out there, they ain't got great centers as a whole in rotation. Offensively, they flow better. They do. That's objectively true. AD's having his best offensive season. LeBron as point guard, essentially for this team, facilitator, has been still looking like LeBron. Took some time off, was struggling, came back, put up a great game. You get it? What he did when he went over, you can speculate for yourself. But either way, we ain't gonna do the whole PED and drug jokes. But you get what I'm saying. The point is, I'm not riding for anybody. JJ Redick, offensively, is what the Lakers could have looked like last year, but they didn't. Defensively, he is not a great defensive coach at all. He is not making the right adjustments, even though he is calling timeouts, even though he is at least trying to stop momentum in ways that Darvin Ham never did. And we still see Darvin Ham in the Milwaukee Bucks, still with his hands in his pockets. It's Doc Rivers doing most of the work. But still, that doesn't mean JJ Redick is, while he is a better coach than Darvin Ham. That's objectively true. But he is still not a great coach from the standpoint of he's lacking in one department. That's defensive ability. That's defensive rotations. That's defensive adjustments. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Even with what he's working with right now, though the roster is depleted, it's not happening. That's objectively true. That's objectively a problem. If you're beating teams 127 to 120, that's still, they put up 120. If you're losing to teams like when they lost to Minnesota, if they're losing 80 to 110, well, you're giving up 110 to 120 points. And if your offense is not clicking, you are a sitting duck. You are dead in the water. So no. You ain't gonna put that on me. Nah. We're gonna have some fun, absolutely. But no, I back up my stuff. Oh no. You ain't about to call me Stephen A. Riding for the Knicks to Kingdom Come. Oh, no. And from an offensive perspective, they're where they need to be. Defensively, they're a bunch of bumps. Bumps. B-U-M. Bumps. Bumps to the nth degree. To the nth degree. And by nth, I mean whatever degree you want to put there. They're a bunch of bums on defense. They can't get back. They got a guard lineup. They can't do anything. And Gabe Vincent is a bum in every facet of the word when he's not playing in Miami. D'Lo is an offensively streaky player who cannot guard for his life and continues to have lapse in a judgment. Austin Reeves is a great offensive player, but defensively still can be a liability, though he's shown to be more adept as a defensive player. He's got the ability to strip you when you're trying to drive to the lane. He is crafty. Rui Hachimura has the ability to be a good defender with the length and size and strength, and he showed it. And when they were making their runs in the playoffs, when they were clicking on defense, hey, the lineup could work. But as a whole right now, even with AD as a defensive anchor, they can't do it. They ain't got the personnel, as well as the rotations and the scheme on defense isn't working properly. It's a multifaceted thing. But that still objectively means that J.J. Redick is a good coach. Better, at least better than Darvin Ham. You ain't got to call him good. That's perfectly fine. He's better than Darvin Ham. And if you're better than Darvin Ham, well, that means you've succeeded in life. If you're better than Darvin Ham, you've succeeded in life. You've succeeded in something. You've done your due diligence and you made a change. Great day in the morning. You made a change. Good gosh. You made a change for the better. Unlike with Darvin Ham, but that's a whole other conversation. I had to watch that for who knows how long, because I'm not missing the last years of LeBron. But I tell you this right now: when somebody is objectively bad, they're objectively bad, no matter where they are. Even when they're succeeding, they're still bad. Like we talked about with Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia is still a bad defensive fighter, though he is what 43 wins, 34 KOs, and got an opportunity to go 12 rounds and went 12 rounds with Canelo. He's succeeding, but as a defensive fighter, he is still horrible. And when he got exposed, like he got exposed against Socrates, what happened? What was in the dark came to light, or what was in the light but hidden, now got the absolute spotlight put on them. They're still bad. They're still bad. Not saying Munguia is a bad fighter, but defensively, they're still bad. Though the stuff covers up what they are bad at. See what I'm saying? So yeah. You ain't putting that on me, indeed. But let's see, my pie, what you got to say? By the way, now that we've covered it, now championship rounds. Whatever question or comment you want to discuss, whatever you want to put in, we're fully in and out. When this is y'all's show, we got 30 minutes. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, whatever discussions. It's up to you. The floor is yours. The table is set. We are here. We are live, and we are free to go and discuss anything and everything else. But what, my pie, what's your opinion? Would you like to? Oh, that's a good question. Maybe, you know what? Who I would like to see, what European I would like to see in the NBA from the past? I would have loved to see Arvydas Sabonis play in the NBA in his prime. When he was dominating the Olympics, when he was dominating overseas, when he was dominating as a multi-time MVP in Europe, when he was one of the most eccentric and unique players at 7 foot, 7'2", 7'3", 300-something pounds, able to run like a deer, able to jump and had the passing ability, could spread the floor, and could dunk on you and out-muscle you, had footwork, he had everything. He was phenomenal in his prime before injuries. If we saw Arvydas Sabonis, father of Domantas Sabonis, if we saw that brother come into the league now, in his prime and playing the NBA today, my word. Brother, you want to talk about an absolute nightmare fuel for anybody to go up against. Jokic right now is, in my opinion, he's working his way up to be the best offensive center in NBA history. And if he continues this level of dominant play, he's working his way up to being one of the greatest players, period. We're talking about top 25 level, maybe eking into top 10 level later down the line. We're saying the prospect is there, but definitively where he's close to, he's definitely in top 75. He's probably definitely in top 50. Definitively. And you see what he's doing right now. Arvydas Sabonis was that level of player, or that type of player, that caliber of player in his prime overseas in the Olympics. If we saw that brother play now, I would love to see what people like Joel Embiid, what people even like Jokic, people like AD, people like Rudy Gobert, I would have loved to see what they would have been able to do with him. That's probably my biggest what if. That's probably my biggest what if. And he would have been one of the golly, that brother would have been incredible. He would have been stupid. If he played in today's NBA at 7'3", being able to spray from the floor like he could already at that point in time, consistently, spray from range consistently, and had the passing ability and the agility to not just make passes and get people open, but to run the floor like a guard. Oh, it's stupid. It's stupid what he had as a combination of skill. I would have loved to see him get on the floor in the NBA at his best, in his prime, and go and contend with the likes. If it was in the 90s, if it was in the 80s and 90s, go contend with the likes of Bird, Magic, and Jordan. Go contend with the likes in the modern day of the Goberts. 2010s, love to see it. Him against Dirk would have been great. Him against Dwight would have been great. Him against anybody would have been an absolute incredible sight to see. Because the talent was, if you go back and watch him play, the brother would yam on you, lay it up and under, had footwork and could go and outmaneuver you. Had post work and feet like a ballerina, but power like a strongman. Had the agility and balance and body control to change the shot in air, to go and go from a shot to a pass to a shot, behind his head, through the legs of his opponent. Had court vision, could pass and could do skip passes from across the floor. He had so many different avenues of legitimate talent and legitimate skills that all blended together with a unique style of play that was all his own, that was indeed dominant and forceful, but at the same time graceful. It was incredible to see. I would have loved to see Arvydas Sabonis come to the NBA in his prime from the Olympics without injury and play in the NBA, especially in the NBA today. Oh, gosh, that would be great. That would have been phenomenal, at least for me. But again, the floor is yours. The floor is open. Whatever questions, comments, or concerns you have on the show, put them in the chat. Topics are yours and yours alone. We can talk about whatever you want to discuss. It is an hour and 23 into the show. We are at hour 30 officially. Oh, yes, indeed. And we are at the time of the show, the championship rounds. As I stated earlier, there is an opportunity for you to pose your questions, pose your thoughts, pose your opinions. I've talked about everything I need to discuss on my end of the show. Now it's up to hear from you, the fans, the listeners, the viewers. What debates do you want to have? What conversations do you want to discuss? Do you want to talk about, again, with Bam Rodriguez, what an opponent you would like to see? Do you want to talk about, in a way, getting moved the fight back with Sam Goodman to the January 24th, I believe? And would you like to see him move up after that? Or stay at 122? And look for a fight potential with Junto Nakatani. Oh, yes, indeed. It would have been great to see. And let's see, in my pot, yeah, Sabonis player turned wait a minute. Turned a provincial team from the port town of Kaunas into a European giant. You're right. Absolutely right. Excuse me for getting some of the words, if I pronounce some of the words wrong. Again, provincial. I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary. Wait a minute now. I'm a man of good vernacular. But hey, shoot. Y'all maybe just I'm gonna throw that around the kingdom come. Provincial. Am I saying that right? Provincial? Oh yeah. Oh y'all gonna get sick of me. Y'all gonna get tired of me. I guarantee you that. You gonna see me. I'm gonna just use that just because, for whatever the case may be. That's oh boy. Oh shoot. That's a new one. I heard that. Shoot. And you said your English you said you had broken English. Brother, that's shoot. What source are you reading from? I need that. My gosh, you just opened me up to something new. Thank you. I appreciate you with that. But yeah, Sabonis, he turned a provincial team into a European giant. He turned him into a global team. He was incredible. He was phenomenal. He was insane. And he would have been great in the NBA, especially today. Oh my gosh, it would have been incredible. Let's see. But Fight Buzz, you say Usyk's last words on his yeah, that's what it's going to be. Usyk's last words are going to be, I very feel. And here's the thing. Let's talk about I very feel real quick. There's a Usyk's got a situation. Excuse me if you hear some buzzing going around. We got people making food, making drink, and making all this stuff. But when it comes to Usyk and that I very feel moniker that he always has, the composure of Usyk is something that I think we underestimate with his ability and his willingness to always overcome obstacles. And I think that's something that's underrated on the side of Usyk and on the side of other all-time great heavyweights. I think we need to take into account, or at least put on a respective pedestal. When it comes to the world of Usyk and how he's always so even-keeled, that I very feel aspect of him, somehow it makes him seem, and makes him, period, infallible, unrattleable. Is that the right word? Unrelenting in his stability within himself, within his team, and within the fight that he's going in. Somehow, some way, against every obstacle he's faced off against, whether it's war that he went to fight at, whether it's in the ring against going up against 6'9" brother, whether it's with even personal loss and personal issues, he has been able to consistently be at its core. I feel I'm even keeled. I'm clean and I'm present. Somehow, some way, he doesn't lose himself in the fight, though he's all in on the fight. And because of that, it's something that we all should laud and applaud. Again, Joe Louis was the same way. The brother, Sugar Robinson, the same way. Brother was calm. Brother was cool and collected. The brother never let the fight overtake him, but he always overtook the fight. And with Usyk, we see that same level. We see that same level. Nervous or not, scared or not, that same even-keeled mentality is something he's always able to take and perpetuate and use and fuel and have at his disposal as essentially an unknown or an unconscious weapon against all of his opponents. That's what it's been. And I say unconscious because he just naturally does it. But to his opponents, they can't look him in the eye. To his opponents, they can't face him face to face. To his opponents, like with Tyson Fury, they can't get to that level of serenity and all-out intensity. Because there's the combination that Usyk has within him, backed by the calm, even-keeled nature, is a killer. Again, it's a killer. It's literally a killer. It's the almost psychopathic. It's almost psychotic that in the midst of all of this, the grandeur of the moment, the grandeur of the event, the intensity of the opponent that's across from you, the validity that this will have on your career, the ramifications of legacy, everything that's on the line, all the stipulations and implications that can happen, win, lose, or draw, in almost a psychotic serenity. Usyk is still just Usyk. And it's always the opponents that seemingly get rattled by him in his presence because he's just him. It's something so unique that we don't see oftentimes in many fighters. Tyson had it, but with him it was fear. With Sugar Ray Robinson had it, but with him it was easygoing reverence. You knew what he turned into a killer with, but outside of the ring, you couldn't. It was almost like the respect that he commanded unconsciously, just by being Sugar Ray Robinson, made it so that his opponents, like, I can't match him because it's Sugar Ray Robinson. Ali had it with his ability to out-talk his opponent and his ability to say, I'm confident and are you me? You ain't me. And people had to look and say, yeah, you're right. I'm not you. Shoot, I'm not. The bravado. Everybody had their own intricate thing that separated them. Sonny Liston, it was outright fear. George Foreman, outright fear. Everybody had their own thing that helped separate them from the opposition, helped separate them from the turmoil of the fight. They helped separate them from the ability to connect with their opponent. Not because, oh no, we're both fighters. We both respect each other. Not from that perspective, but from the perspective of there's a disconnect because there's something about me that you don't have. And even if there's something about you that I don't have, I have something that you want or that you are afraid of. You don't have something that I want or that I'm afraid of. Or if mutually you both got something that each other wants and are or afraid of, they go and they clash with each other. And so the effect still happens, but it's now a fight for supremacy. Who overtakes who? Usyk's got that just by being himself. And it's something that is, for some, yeah, you can learn. Mike Tyson learned it. He learned it from Custom Model. He got instilled in him in Custom Model up until it became him. So you can become something through repetition. But you can also beat something just by being born. That's what we're seeing with Usyk. It's something just in him. It's something just it's something just in him. It's something just in him. It's just in him. He's got the ability to do it more than anybody else. At least at this stage in the game. It's a psychotic serenity. That's what he's got. A psychotic serenity in his ability and in himself that other people, they can't look at him. Tyson had to work to be able to face this man face to face. There was a level of resolve that he had to go when he faced off against Usyk for 10 minutes. There was a level of resolve, again, in his own psychopathic nature of, no, I'm facing off against the belly of the beast head on. But it was all, even with it being great, it's good. It's different. With Usyk, that's what I am. With Tyson, I had to pull myself to get there. I had to will myself to get there. I had to will myself to face you. I had to will myself to look you in the eye. I had to will myself to be stone-faced killer. I had to will myself to instill my resolve for going against you. Usyk, he's had that against Tyson Fury ever since they first went against each other. That's the difference. I'm not saying one's good or bad, but I am saying one that's instilled versus one that is, especially one that's recently instilled, versus one that has always been or has always been what they are. One can break a lot easier than the other because it hasn't been matured, nurtured in the same vein as somebody that's been doing it all his life. With Usyk, same thing. Psychopathic serenity all his life. Psyched out his opponents just by being there. Tyson Fury, he's psyched out opponents. Oh, don't get me wrong. He's got his own thing. But against this, you saw it in the first fight. There was something that Usyk had in him that Tyson Fury did not want to face head to head. And even when they did face off in the first fight, what happened? He ended it quick by headbutting. He ended it quick by pushing the issue, getting all excited, and then shoving him out the way. To break the contact, break the connection, break facing that psychotic serenity. That is what we're dealing with when it comes to Usyk versus Fury. And if we see Tyson Fury hold on, okay, we could see an upset, no question. But if we see it break, and we'll know when we see it break. We will know when we see it break. I don't think it's going to be able to happen. I truly don't think it's going to be able to happen. But only time will tell. We'll have to see. But let's see. Do you know Benavidez? Now, I've heard the name. I have definitely heard the name. Benavidez. Also because it just sounded cool. But I've heard the name before. Over in, I haven't been over in Europe. But I've heard the name before as a European player. I know I looked him up. I can't remember exactly how he played, but I knew the hype was real. I remember when I watched him play, or when I watched highlights of him play. Okay, no, he's got some legitimate talent, but I ain't looked at that name in a minute, but I heard of him. I knew that brother was great. I knew that brother was good. It just at this point in time, vaguely I'm remembering what his play style was. But I knew the mark that he left on me. Oh, it was indeed, hey, surprised that this brother isn't in the league. Surprised this brother isn't in the NBA. Surprised this brother didn't come over here a long time ago. There's a couple point guards that could use him. There's a couple teams that could use that brother. There are a couple teams that could have used that brother as a incredibly smart, court vision driven, crafty playmaker that could also shoot. Defensively, I don't know how good he was defensively, but what I do know, the brother indeed did have some talent that if he did go into the NBA, it would have translated phenomenal. It would have translated phenomenally. But hey, he did his career in Europe. No problem there. Phenomenal. All well and good for him. And he still came out great. Again, I'm remembering him. I'm acknowledging that brother could play. If he ever did play in the NBA. But he still doesn't change the fact that even if he didn't play in the league, as a player, oh no, he was indeed great. He was indeed great. Now, I will say preference or to preface everything I've been saying, or as a caution. I don't know as much about European ball as I do about NBA ball. I will concede that. I respect the game. I love how it's evolved. I love how all the leagues are competitive. I love how everybody over in the I take the question. Hold on. Wait. I take the question. Wait a minute. Hold on. Somebody said I ducked the question. Let me see. Whose question did I duck? Who? Hold on. I ain't ducking no smoke. Let's see what you. All right, here we go. Okay, excuse me. I'm sorry. Well, I got sidetracked. I'm sorry, Rich. So sorry. Let's talk about it right now. Let's see what you asked. I ain't trying to miss nobody. Again, I'm not trying to. Please don't call me a duck. I ain't ducking no smoke. I ain't trying to duck any smoke anyway. This is. I love doing this, and so I'm all for it. I ain't trying to miss no question, but appreciate you reminding me. Let me go back to what you had to say earlier on. I saw your Hagler Roy Jones video, and it's a wild take. Wow, Hagler at 160 pounds would put glass jaw Roy in a blender. Hagler chin, pressure and power will break Roy. Now, again, I didn't say that wasn't a possibility. If you saw the full thing, I think I put out the full thing. I know I put out the short, and that's perfectly fine. But it's all well and good. And again, you saying that he would KO him, that's completely, I conceded that. If you go back and see the full video, I concede, and Fight Buzz was here when I talked about it. I concede. In fact, he was the one that brought up the question. I concede that it was the fact that no, if he got caught clean, it would take him out. If he got caught clean, it's a very concerning thing as to whether or not we would see, Roy be able to get up. It's completely understandable. Absolutely. The pressure, the power, the relentless ability, the switch stances, the deceptive speed. Again, he wasn't the fastest 160. He wasn't the fastest middleweight, but he was indeed fast. He was indeed elite in every aspect of it. And the power that he carried was world class. The chin is one of the best chins in boxing history, and the IQ is incredible. No question. Now, with all of that I conceded, and I said that he could have definitely beat him. And I even said that if they fought 3 times, Hagler would at least win 1. I guarantee you, if they fought 3 times, you could say they got a draw in one situation, and then they would get Roy would get 1, and Hagler would get 1. At least I said something. I said something around that vein. So now, I still believe in one fight, I would pick Roy to beat Marvin Hagler. Because again, with as close of a fight as it was between Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard, which again, I think that Hagler should have won. I do think Hagler should have won that fight. I think Hagler was robbed of that fight. Absolutely. But with all that being said, with everything that Roy Jones brings to the table, a better version of Sugar Ray Leonard, from a physical standpoint, naturally as big. He's not moving up from 154 or 150 all the way up to 160. This is different. Now, naturally, Roy from 154 to 160, 160 Roy was the start of his prime. 160 Roy, the end of 154 into 160, 168, 175, and then eventually heavyweight. That was the prime. When he got to moving up 160 and beyond, that was the prime. The downtrend afterwards, oh yeah, there's a problem. It's a problem. But before that, he could take a punch, at least better than he could when he lost muscle. He could take shots late when he was in his prime. His chin, it was better than he was when he went back down. That's objectively true. That is objectively true. That's not me trying to make a hot take. That's me. That's for real. Roy's chin was better when he was going up 160 and beyond than when he was going back down from 200 heavyweight to 175. It was indeed better. That was not the same Roy Jones Jr. in the slightest. It wasn't the same in the slightest. And so with everything about Roy's ability, natural talent, and natural physical capabilities was on par with Marvin Hagler. That's the bold-faced truth. That's not a question. That's not a question. Again, I'm not saying he had Mugabe power, but he had something close to it because the brother was a knockout machine at middleweight. That's objectively true. He beat and knocked down James Toney. He beat and knocked down Bernard Hopkins. He ran through every great in multiple eras or in multiple divisions. So it would be a situation where all the punchers that we're talking about, they could indeed, if they landed the shot, they would get put out. We get that. Roberto Duran had a great chin. When he went up against Tommy Hearns, he got knocked out. Does that mean he doesn't have a great chin? No. It just means that Tommy Hearns got the power to do it, and he landed, and it happened. We said Munguia had a great chin, but when it comes to him getting knocked out by Socrates, well, we didn't expect that at all, but it happened. The knockout isn't something that is the only paramount thing. Sugar Ray Leonard got knocked down and got back up, and in the eyes of the judges, won the fight. I don't think it happened, but it happened against Marvin Hagler. And so to say that, to use knockout as the only thing, well, at 160, 168, and all through that threshold, he would have been able to get up. More likely than if we had fought him pre or post moving up in weight and moving back down. And so I think that, and again, yes, and Duran didn't start at 118, to be fair. I completely understand. I'm saying still the reputation of what he is did not change. Though he moved up and reached the threshold where, hey, Tommy Hearns was just too big and too strong. But objectively, he is what he is. But in the vein that we're talking about, when it comes to Roy at 160 and Hagler at 160, it's incredibly comparable. It's absolutely comparable. We're not comparing the greatness of who did more, who did less, strictly from me, from a talent perspective. I feel that he would have beat him. He would have at least beat him once, in my opinion. He would at least beat him. And again, Rick, when I say he weighed in at 193, close to 200, but he fought people that were, again, like what was his name? Was it Ruiz? Was it Ruiz that he beat for the heavyweight title? Ruiz came in fighting 236. I believe, or 230, around that range. So either way, Roy fought up to a cap where there was no limit to the cap. Even if he came in at 193. Again, old heavyweights in the past came in and fought at 190. Floyd Patterson fought at 190. Joe Louis fought at 190. So it's like, yeah, it's impressive. It's even more impressive that when he was moving up, to be able to go and fight at heavyweight and not get rocked, not get hurt, and going up against John Ruiz and still being able to survive, not survive, win, dominate, cleanly. And all throughout what we've seen him going through, he's faced off against heavy hitters before. Again, he was the best of that era when it came to, again, he was the same era as Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather's physical prime, when he was knocking out people left, right, and center. And there was no contest who was indeed the fighter of that generation. It was Roy Jones Jr. There wasn't a question. There wasn't a conversation. There wasn't, objectively, it wasn't, if you look back at history. And so when I say that Sugar Ray Leonard or that Hagler would lose to Roy if they fought against each other, that's not disrespect to Hagler. It's not. But understanding what we saw from the Sugar Ray Leonard fight and understanding that Roy, from a physical standpoint, from a power standpoint, and from an athletic standpoint, and even from a boxing standpoint at minimum, all those other things, Roy was bigger, stronger, just as fast, his whole game plan relied on reflexes and they were all perfect. And he could brawl with the best of them, like I said in the thing, on top of the fact that his chin at that point in time at 160 Maybe initially I had said I was always suspect with his chin because again, because it was Roy. But when I talk about it more, in hindsight, I was suspect with his chin moving back down. But moving up, I wasn't suspect with. I wasn't. Because he kept showing me that he was okay, that he was good. And from what I saw, so what I'm saying is, from that perspective, I think he would have beat him. And if you don't agree, that's completely fine. But it is not out of an impossible realm. It's not. It's not something that is so blasphemous. It's not. It definitely isn't. It definitely is not. He could indeed beat him. And I think he would have beat him if they fought against each other. If they fought again, Hagler, no doubt he would be able to adjust, and I could see him taking it. And then they fight a rubber match, and whatever the case happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. But I think definitively, if they fought against each other, Roy would get a win. He would get a win. And if it was just one fight, I would pick Roy. Objectively, I would pick Roy. And the question of whether or not he's a better fighter than Sugar Ray Leonard, there's a potential. That's a great question. Because they're both at the top of the game. They both were incredible. But I would have to say yeah. I would have to say yeah. Because I've been consistent with saying Roy Jones Jr., outside of Sugar Ray Robinson, is the greatest talent I've witnessed inside of a boxing ring. I would have to. I would have to. The man cleaned out 5 divisions. The man did something that Bob Fitz, the man did something that we hadn't seen since Bob Fitzsimmons. And that was a record that we thought was just never going to happen again. Like he operated in an era of killers across divisions. He operated and killed all of them. He did on his rise. And he did everything that we said we wanted for him to do, which was just like with Sugar Ray Leonard. He went and fought them all. Roy went and fought them all. And even on the way back down, he beat Antonio Tarver the first time. And then the second time, he got knocked out, but you get what I'm saying? Like up until he wasn't, he was Roy Jones Jr. And Roy Jones Jr. was indeed, and is indeed, in my opinion, outside of Sugar Ray Robinson, probably the most talented boxer I've seen in boxing history. For me. And the achievements back up everything about that. So yeah, I would say that Roy was better than Sugar Ray Leonard. If Roy and Sugar Ray Leonard fought against each other, I would have Roy beating Sugar Ray Leonard. It would be a war. Don't get me wrong, it would be a war. I'm not saying Leonard couldn't beat Roy Jones Jr., but if I'm picking somebody between the two, I'm picking Roy Jones Jr. Especially if it's Roy at 160. Absolutely. Especially if it's Roy at 160, I'm picking Roy Jones Jr. to beat Sugar Ray Leonard. 154, I'll still pick Roy. It would be incredibly closer, but I'll still pick Roy. Either way, it would be a barn burner of a fight for me. And so again, if you don't feel that way, it's completely fine. Absolutely. And please, leave a like on the channel if you like this discussion. But it's completely fine if you don't feel that way. But for me, hard for me not to have that as I can't not pick Roy for the talent that he was, what he did in the ring, who he did it against, and the consistent level of domination at which he did it against every single type of fighter. Everybody who was at the top of their game. And Sugar Ray Leonard is one of the greatest of all time. Roy, for me, is just better than him. It's not bad. It's not me trying to go out and say it's horrible. But for me, that's what I see. That's absolutely what I see. And he would have had a gold medal too if it wasn't for them robbing him in the Olympics. And indeed, it's stupid. I'm not talking about this. Again, I'm not putting a lot of people above Sugar Ray Leonard. But what Roy Jones Jr. did, it was stupid. It was stupid. Like stupid. Stupid in the best way possible. You couldn't tell me that you could say in history that would happen. And if anybody was going to be better than Sugar Ray Leonard, or on par from a talent perspective with the likes of Sugar Ray Robinson, it would have to be somebody that would have achieved so much that it becomes undeniable at that point. Both in their talent and in opposition and in accolades. And with Roy, it was all of it. So for me, yeah, I would pick him. I don't think it's out the realm of possibility. I don't think it's out the realm of possibility, at least for me. Who was more impressive, Roy Jones Jr. or Manny Pacquiao? Because Pac is an 8-time division champion in lower weight classes, or 8 division champion for lower weight classes of 3 or 4 pounds apart. Roy went from 154 to heavyweight. See, when it comes to this, is a great question. Now, when it comes to this, I think I also saw another. I saw a clip going around. I think of somebody. Was it Showbiz the Adult? Those who got asked this same question. It's a great question. Absolutely. I think Pacquiao's was greater. Now, the reason being is because of the fact that with smaller divisions, though it's not as glamorized, the talent pool around them is a lot more condensed and vast. In terms of there's more caliber talent that are, oh yeah, this brother's good. Than when you move up in other weight divisions. Not saying that there aren't talent in there, but the condensed level of talent is a lot more when you move up through smaller divisions than the big ones. This does not mean that I'm saying one is greater than the other, because they're both stupid. It's unlikely we'll see any of them happen again. But what's more impressive is Pacquiao, because Pacquiao went 8 division champion against at a time when if we talk about Roy's being a murderer's row of people when he was moving through divisions, Pacquiao's 8 division run was murderer's row left, right, and center. It was up to the point that he was almost in a fight with Terrence Crawford in the 2020s. Like, you understand that? Like, or in the, was it 2010s, 2020s? He was almost in a fight with Errol Spence Terrence Crawford outright. And so for 4 decades, the man was a champion. Fought the likes of Miguel Cotto, Juan Manuel Marquez. He fought the likes of Oscar De La Hoya. He fought the likes of a literal who's who. A literal who's who of everybody, that many of them are some of the greatest Puerto Rican fighters, Mexican fighters, or all-time great fighters outright. Antonio Margarito. We can go down the list. It was a situation where it was killers all throughout in a more saturated vein than with Roy Jones Jr. Though Roy Jones Jr.'s road did in and of itself have killers also. It's not demeaning either of the two, but condensed. For me, that it was a situation where I think his is more impressive, because with what Roy did in terms of weight discrepancy, which was indeed stupid. It's ridiculous, stupid that he was able to accomplish that. Incredible, he was able to accomplish that. What Roy did in weight discrepancy, Pacquiao did in talent. You get what I'm saying? The weight discrepancy wasn't the same. And if you want to compare it relative to moving up from what was he, 105, 103, all the way up to 147 and being a champion in every division from that, for a small body, that is almost impossible. Again, that's like, in a way, moving up to 130 and facing off and knocking out people like Gervonta Davis. So you see what I'm saying? When it comes to the wild weight discrepancy, it's small comparative to the size of the fighter, which is why pound for pound rankings were made in the first place. But this is an incredible feat. And so, but what was more impressive for me was the talent pool that Pacquiao faced off and beat and fought over and over and over again. Similar to what we've seen with people like, again, Sugar Ray Robinson fighting Jake LaMotta 7 times. Rematching hotly contested people like Juan Manuel Marquez. So, like, we're looking at a situation where Pacquiao, I think, was more impressive because the condensed pool that was all throughout his run was a lot more saturated, though the weight discrepancy was not nearly as close. Comparative to the two, I think Pacquiao's was more impressive on the whole, because Pacquiao was something that we had never seen before, period, in boxing history. Somebody coming up from 155 to from 105 to 147. Even flirting with the idea of 154 and being a champion, not just in every division, but being a champion in every decade. 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s, I believe. Like, or if I got the dates wrong, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Either way, 4 decades of you're a champion consistently. There is a point in time when there's nothing. People have lived and died, and Pacquiao was still champion. That's stupid. Like that shouldn't be, but it is. It is. And so for that reason, I have Pacquiao as more impressive than Roy Jones Jr. But again, Mapai put it best. They're two goats. Like, they are indeed. They are. Where's that? Where's the thing? Hold on. I don't know what's going on with this thing. There we go. They're two goats. Like, they're two of the greatest. We're not trying to compare one to the other and saying one is bad or not. For me, it's a personal preference. For me, what's more impressive is Pacquiao's 8-division run, due to the talent pool that he faced off against and the absurdity of it all, especially at that size. And with him reigning as a champion in some capacity for 4 decades. There was never a time during that stretch where he wasn't a title holder. So it's hard for me to say that for me, that's not more impressive than Roy Jones Jr. But I'm not pitting them against each other. Both of those situations we'll never see happen again. The very fact that Roy from 154 can move up to 200 plus, or to that 200 plus threshold in heavyweight and be a champion, looking to fight Mike Tyson at that point in time. Like, the very fact that we were saying that Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., will that fight happen, is something that should not be uttered. That shouldn't be reasonably talked about in the slightest. Like, at all. At all. That's like saying if they were fighting at the same time at their best or close to their best. That's like saying if Sugar Ray Leonard worked his way up from 154 to heavyweight to fight Ali. That's absurd to say. But that's what happened with Roy. In terms of he got a title, he got to the division, won in that division, won a title at that division, and then was potentially in conversation with getting a fight with Mike Tyson. How far can this train go? That's what Roy Jones Jr. did. That's ridiculous in an absurd way that we didn't think was possible. That should not be possible. But it was with him and him alone. Him and Bob Fitzsimmons. But in the modern day, him and him alone. Nobody else. Stupid. It's stupid, man. It's so stupid. So they're two goats. Period. Whatever one you like, prefer one or the other, they both are what they are. And they are indeed great. They are indeed great. Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, Cesar Valenzuela, how you doing? Glad you coming in on the show. Now, what you got to say about this? Oh, okay, Pacquiao to perform hands and drugs, though, man. Now, see, we've brought this up on the stream before. From what I found during that old drug saga, I did not find anything that verified to me that he did indeed take performance-enhancing drugs. I've been looking. I've been trying to validate. I've been trying to go through and say this is a fact or not. Because we don't do speculation. We don't do conspiracy. I've been doing that all the way. I don't care what it said. I need valid proof that I can verify, cross-reference, and make sure. And from what I've found, I haven't seen anything. So because of that, this is, for me, it's a valid claim to being one of the greatest of all time. The achievements are indeed that, from what I found. I get it, there were some fights that, was he doing it, was he not, all this stuff. But from what I found when I was doing research for all these different situations, I didn't see anything. I didn't find anything that concretely showed me, this happened. And again, I hate it because it's the muddied thing of boxing. Everything is all convoluted. And you got to really work to try to find whether or not these things are indeed true or not. Now, I will keep looking, don't get me wrong. But as of right now, everything I've found about PEDs and Pacquiao They don't line up. And Pacquiao's achievements are indeed real. So because of that, I can freely view him as the great that he is without any other caveats attached to him. For me. But again, do research, absolutely. And don't just take my word for it. I am not the end all be all. I'm just trying to be as reputable as possible and be as fun and entertaining as possible. But reputable, reputation, continuity, consistency, that's the key. That's what we do on this channel. Consistency is key. And we try to be consistent with everything that we research, everything that we discuss. And with what I know, he was good. Pacquiao was okay. Pacquiao was clean from drugs and enhancements. And he was able to do it because he's one of the people that do it. Plain and simple. What type of camera I got? I'll be perfectly frank. This camera's my phone. I'll be completely. Oh, also, Warlock, brother, how you doing, Warlock? Glad to hear. Glad Warlock Boxing is in the building. Appreciate you coming in and joining in on the show. Please leave a like on the stream. Leave a like on the channel. We appreciate all your support to go on and make this happen again. We're in the championship rounds, so we are in a situation where anybody can talk about whatever you want to discuss. Throw your questions in the chat. I've already covered everything I need to cover with David Benavidez versus Morrel, with Usyk versus Fury, with a couple of things like in the NBA. I've covered all of that, so now the floor is you all's, the viewer's choice for what you all want to discuss. It is you all's time to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're at the tail end of the championship round. We're on round 12 right now because we're on 2 hours and 8 minutes into the show. So we got about 10 minutes left, or rather more so 5 minutes left to get you whatever questions you want to be discussing, comment, and debate. We'll put it in the chat right now. We'll talk about it absolutely. But we're here, we're live, and we're happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Hey, but what type of camera you got? I ain't gonna miss you. Type of camera I got. Jose Valenzuela is, or excuse me, Jesus Valenzuela is an iPhone 14 or 15, 14, iPhone 14. Yeah, I'm recording on your phone. Yeah, I'm recording on my phone. It's crazy. Now it's not as crazy because the cameras that you on iPhones and also on Samsung and Android, they're good. They are good. It's just a matter of you got to make sure you set it up right. Also use what's the other camera thing? Cameo. Yeah, I use Cameo as like the I guess camera operation system on my thing. I can stream in 1080p. I can even stream in 1440p. I can stream in 60 frames per second. But if I do that, sometimes the stuff stutters and the stream ain't clean like I want it to be. So, nah, ain't gonna do that. But as long as it's clean, again, we try to keep this as professional as possible. I put in the work to make this as much of a professional thing. Oh, we gonna look good. I don't do anything half-stepping. Trust and believe that. Oh, you're going to get quality on this show. And from the looks to the sound to everything in between, you're going to get quality. But yeah, iPhone, I believe 14 is what I got. And I finagle it right and do what I got to do. Works like a charm. For me. And so that's what I got going on. Oh, and thumbnails, Canva website. You can make thumbnails and posters, whatever case you want to be, for anything. It's a free thing. You can pay for extra amenities and opportunities, but it's free. You can do what you want. I use it in college. Great tool for college. Great tool for just work in general. Great tool for, so it's great. It's free. They added some new stuff and updated it. You can go and take pictures, apply it, cut them out, all that stuff. It's all well and good and all well and fun. So if you want to make this your thing, go on and do it. Absolutely. And so those are the tools that I use. Hopefully, it will work out for you as well. But we still got more things in conversation. I appreciate it. No problem there. Glad you asked the question. I'll provide if I can help you with anything that you got going on. No question. But now, let's see. Oh, we got somebody with Boots. Boots is the greatest of all time. Well, that's a lie. Let's just be frank about that. That's a bold-faced lie. But he is an incredible talent. Don't get me wrong. But the question is, when will he take the test to validate said talent? We've had this conversation that we're struggling with Boots because Boots Ennis is indeed great. Boots Ennis is indeed elite. However, his recent performances and his unwillingness to take the opportunity to walk through the door that is the very door he was looking for to get to his ultimate goal of Terrence Crawford has us asking some questions. It indeed does for me. And Rich, you call him a duck in this situation. Yeah, he might, against Virgil Ortiz, he might be a duck. We covered this on a past episode. You can go look it up on a past show. You can go look it up, absolutely. In this way, we have to call it a duck in this regard because of the fact he didn't take the opportunity. It's different if it was ripped away from you, if you didn't get a chance to do it. But the brother didn't do it at all. And it made no sense that, and he said himself he needed to move up. But when he got the opportunity to move up, he didn't move up. Why? I don't know. I do not know. If Boots unified instead of fighting two, is that now, see, here's the thing. Here's the question. So let's read. If Boots unifies instead of fighting two, instead of fighting two, I'm assuming you mean potentially meant to say Virgil Ortiz or fighting as well. Is that a duck? Tio, excuse me. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Tio, excuse me, my apologies. Tio, yeah, okay, yeah. So if Boots unifies instead of fighting Tio, is that a duck? No. Or if it would be considered a duck, it would be a vastly less severe duck. When we say it's a duck, we're saying it's a duck because of the fact that he did not keep to his word. There's a difference in you moving and you saying that you're going to move and then you don't move. In the post-fight in the post-fight interview, he said, I can't handle 154. I need to move up to 168. Piggybacking off of that, I want to fight Terrence Crawford. I want to get in the ring with him. I want to be able to go and face off against him and get my opportunity because I didn't get it at 147. That's what he said, objectively. After he said that, there was an opportunity to fight with Virgil Ortiz. Talks were in place, and he did not only did he not agree, he stepped away, from what I understand. He stepped away. And didn't happen. And now Xander Zayas was in talks or agreed to fight Virgil Ortiz, if that report is correct. And I believe it is. But the issue is, when it came to Boots, he then said afterwards that he was going to go and stay at 147 to unify the division. Now, if he does that, great. We love a champion that reigns and rules. We love a champion that goes about his business, and if he's in the division, dominate the division. Become undisputed if it is in front of you, if it is there for the taking, and if you can handle it. Now, it can be seen as problematic because you said your body to operate at its best needs to move up, but you are now choosing to move down. So we now have to question whether or not that was said in order to be an excuse for why you struggled against Shukajan 2 times in a row after already struggling with David Avanesian. Though, again, yes, you got the job done. Both performances were criticized, and understandably so. We have to view that as, wait a minute, was that to curtail the vitriol that would have came about with you not going and doing what you said you were going to do? And piggybacking off the performances that you put in on the night of the fight. Saying I wasn't able to perform at my best, hence why I struggled, quote unquote, against Shukajan. Hence, if it was at 154, I'd be a completely different animal. I'm ready to move up to go take on titles. So now, with all that being said, he said he was going to unify. Cool. Do it. But if you don't do it, and now, just like with Gervonta Davis, you bring up somebody from a smaller division that you already said you're too big for this division and you can't be at your best for this division. Why, if you're going to stay at the division, if your only goal was to go and unify the division, that was the only reason why you yourself said you were staying. You then go fight Teofimo Lopez, who, with all the respect in the world to him that he deserves, no question about it. Why is it that you're fighting Teofimo Lopez when he doesn't add a belt to your name in the slightest? And if you want to add to legacy, in this situation, the legacy would be better on people like Tio for taking the fight with Boots rather than Boots taking the fight with Tio. For Tio, it's great. You're moving up. You can't get Tank. You're the best at 140. Devin Haney ain't fighting you. Ryan Garcia is in an expedition. He's banned from boxing. Liam Poirot just lost his fight to Richardson Hitchens. The shakeup is moving, but if you think that you are above this division and you ain't got no business hanging around because everybody either isn't available to fight that would be on your level, or everybody is just, it doesn't really add anything from a time standpoint, even if I get unified or undisputed, it wouldn't be seen in the vein that I would want it to be seen as. Then I'm going to move up to go and fight against Boots and challenge myself, because the fight that I do want, I can't get. That's completely different. For T.O., that's great. But for Boots to say that you started out saying you wanted to move up to 154. Then you went and said you wanted to stay at 147 to unify. And now you fall all the way down to, I'm fighting a 140 pounder coming up to my division. Similar to the same thing that we got on Tank and saying that's wrong. That's wrong for him. It's bad for him. And even though the quality of talent in Tank Tank versus Roach versus Boots and T.O. are drastically different, not comparable. They're not comparable. T.O. is a league's better fighter. League's better fighter than Roach. Seen as one of the best fighters in the world. From a talent perspective, oh yes, he fits the bill. But context, this shouldn't happen. It should not happen in the slightest. So no. That's why we call it a duck. That's why we call it a puck. That's why if he stays to his word and unify, I won't like the fact that he went back on saying he needed to move up. Because why even say that you're going to unify when you indeed just said you can't fight at this division anymore at your best? But if you go and do it, you do it. And there's no qualms there. But if you don't do it, especially after you said that was the only reason why you were doing it, and the opportunity to fight for titles are there, and you don't take it, the only thing I can say is that's a major problem. And it's, you're going back on your word. You're being a hypocrite. We don't do hypocrites. You can run and achieve and fail, that's fine. But if you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, now we have an issue. Especially with the context surrounding the why you're not doing it. Oh, it's a major issue. Problematic indeed. At least for me. At least for me. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. And so let's see what do people got to say right now. Fury hasn't got this. Oh, in terms of the Fury and Usyk fight. Fury, peace and love. Appreciate you coming in and joining in on the show. Absolutely glad that you're here. Glad that you are alive. And glad that you are taking time out to listen to us on the show. And again, boxing nerd, glad you're here. Glad you're back. And glad that, hey, you agree with what I got to say. I appreciate it. If you don't agree, it's perfectly fine. But I'm glad that we're on the same page in that regard. Now to go on peace and love. Fury hasn't got the speed or stamina or skills to beat Usyk as shown in the first meeting. Once in round 5, it's all Usyk. Fury's only chances are early KO, and I doubt the Feather Duster can KO Usyk. Now, see, I gotta push back on you there. I gotta hold on now. Now wait a minute. Now hold on 1 second. Let's pump the brakes on that a little bit. I completely understand. You think Usyk's gonna win. I do too. But let's not overlook the fact that in rounds 4, 5, and 6, it was in the first fight. It was indeed Usyk boxing and to this degree, outboxing. It was Tyson Fury outboxing Usyk in rounds 4, 5, and 6 after Usyk was controlling, boxing, and pressuring Fury in rounds 1, 2, and 3. That is objectively true. Tyson Fury was laying the heavy leather. Tyson Fury was having success. Tyson Fury also hurt Usyk. Before that round 7 surge, when Usyk turned it on and switched to that different gear, Usyk got caught and got wobbled and hurt with an uppercut by Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, against every smaller opponent of Usyk's size, he has knocked out. That's objectively true. And so to say that he can't knock him out, no, he can't. He's got the ability to. Nobody said that he could knock out Deontay Wilder. But lo and behold, look at what happened. And Deontay Wilder's got hurt out the butt. Wilder's got hurt like few people in boxing. He will continue to get up, though he can't get caught and get dropped. Nobody said it was going to happen to Wilder, but it happened to Wilder. So with Usyk, Usyk is a better boxer. Usyk is, in fact, a better fighter. Usyk is the best of this generation. Usyk can hurt Fury, no question. But to say, especially with this new, remotivated, driven, hungry, obsessive Tyson Fury, like we saw in the stare down between them. This Tyson Fury has the capability. If we've seen him do, and I talked about this in the other show, if we've seen him do what he's done in the past, and we've seen what happens to Usyk's opponents after they face off against him, which is evolve. Fury evolves after a close fight with Wilder, Dubois, Chisora, and who is it? Dubois, Chisora, and who's the other brother? Who's the other brother? Who's the other brother? There was three of them. There was three of them. Shoot. Ah, dang it. Who was it? Daniel Dubois. Oh, yeah. Daniel Dubois, Derek Chisora, and Anthony Joshua, after fighting against Usyk, all evolved. I talked about it in the last show. Usyk versus AJ. First time he beat him. Second time AJ had a better performance. Came in, was more deliberate with his offensive firepower and went to the body even more. Adapted, made it a closer fight. He evolved. He changed. Derek Chisora got beat by Usyk. Now you see him now. He beat Joe Joyce. Upset Joe Joyce. Knocked down Joe Joyce. Daniel Dubois got beat by Usyk. Next thing you know, now he's evolved into a brand new fighter and is a heavyweight champion of the world. Beat and knocked out AJ, who we all thought he had no shot at knocking out and beating. Every opponent that Usyk has faced, they've changed for the better. And every time Tyson Fury's been in a close fight, he has changed for the better. So with this situation, with Usyk beating Fury and Usyk and overcoming the obstacle that seemed to be nigh unconquerable, now when we see Usyk versus Fury the second time, with the track record of Usyk's opponents and the track record of Tyson Fury themselves, well, it's a double dose of evolution that we could potentially see coming down the pipe when it comes to Fury in this fight with Usyk. And so it's not a question to say, yeah, you can knock him out. It's entirely possible. Does it need to be done? Absolutely, in the first 6 rounds. Because once round 7 hits, at that point in time, if you are again tired, your technique starts to wane, your footwork starts to become more flat-footed, your guard isn't as tight as it normally is, your reaction time deviates slightly, like it did in the first fight. And Tyson Fury isn't the same Tyson Fury anymore. Hopefully, why he had to adapt his style wasn't just because of Deontay Wilder, but because of his own capabilities. He couldn't bounce like he used to anymore. Similar to Ali. Ali, when he was young, could bounce around the ring all day long. Older Ali, after coming from his wrongful ban for not fighting in Vietnam, he could still bounce, but he couldn't bounce all fight long. So he adapted his style to be something that when I do become flat-footed, I'm still successful. That is what we see. That is what we could see when it comes to Tyson Fury. But when this situation, it's do or die. Because if you do indeed try to go and get him out of there, and you can't by the time round 7 comes around, and you are still in a close competitive fight, just like in the first one, we'll see Usyk pull away. We will see Usyk pull away. And I think we'll see him beat him. If not by KO, by round 10, round 9, then by unanimous decision. But if Tyson Fury does beat him, it would be, I could see it by KO. I could see it by KO trying to get it done in round 5, to get it out the way while you have all the energy in the world and all the power still in you. Using the uppercut, using the lead uppercut also, as well as the real one. Using those big hooks to the body all fight long, not just to the head, to the body, targeting the body. He can knock him out. Because I don't care how much you may think he doesn't have the power to beat him or knock him out to the head. He's got the power to knock him out to the body. Fury's got the power to knock him out to the body. Fury's got the power to hurt him to the body. Fury's got the power to take him out downstairs. Forget flooding the basement. He broke the basement. That's what can happen. You can break the basement of Usyk. And Fury was having success when he went and attacked the basement, attacked the body of Usyk. Now we're going to see Fury, most likely, really hone in on it. Be deliberate in it. We saw AJ hurt Usyk to the body, get uncomfortable. One of the biggest turning points in the fight was the fact that AJ hurt him. And he had him wincing, and he had him working backwards, and he had Usyk on the ropes. Daniel Dubois almost had him out of there. But what happened? Shot to the body was called illegal. Should have been a knockdown in my estimation, but even still, he got hurt. It is you land clean and you land hard, and even got to be as much power. Shoot, if you want to be perfectly frank, Archer better BF when they faced off against each other in the amateurs and in the Olympics. I believe in the Olympics more specifically. Archer better BF faced off against Usyk. And Archer better BF knocked him down with a glancing shot to the body. Now, Archer better BF again is 100% knockout ratio. His punching ability is different from anybody else in boxing today. Period. An anomaly of a puncher. But what happened happened. A glancing blow to the body that I didn't even think hurt or landed cleanly. Put Usyk down. Usyk was complaining about body shots in the fight against Tyson Fury. On the belt line, some were below. Yes, they were, but even still, he does that when he gets hit because he doesn't like it. So it's possible. Indeed, it's possible. And yeah, and the whole thing about it, there is only one Tyson Fury. There is only one Tyson Fury. There is only one man that has been able to put Usyk at this much of a disadvantage and has been able to almost rip victory out of the jaws of defeat. But he couldn't do it. But he's got the capacity to. And he can. And while Fight Buzz may see that he can win the rematch, no, understandable. I feel you. Support who you think is going to win. Absolutely. We can defer and still have great conversation. No question about it. He can win. And if he does win, it'll be by knockout. Or by, if it does go to decision, split decision for me. It could be dominant enough to be unanimous, but I think it's going to be split if Tyson Fury does win. But the point is, he can win. The issue is, like I've been talking about it before, the psychopathic serenity, the ability to adapt and evolve, the sixth gear, all of that is what Fury has to overcome. And Usyk, in some capacity, has to find within himself to reach, to get to that level of Usyk. He's shown he's got the intensity. He's shown he's got the fire. He's shown that he is willing himself to face off against that psychopathic serenity and look him in the eye. He's shown that he has put himself through the ringer to get to where I need to be, to beat you. But it's only half the battle. You still, for the most part, have lost the war outside the ring. That's objectively true. The game plan and the normal road to success, out talking your opponent, as I talked about in the past, out hustling your opponent when it comes to verbal jabs and making them feel uncomfortable, you are on that other end of the spectrum. You have lost that up until this point. And even now, you're still losing. You're fighting back, don't get me wrong. You staring Usyk down eye to eye for 10 minutes straight. Brother, that's fighting back. That's how we give credit where credit is due. You fought back. You're fighting back. But still, the outside fight has been in Usyk's control. The mental scape of the game has been in Usyk's control. By Usyk just being Usyk. You've elevated yourself to get to a point where you can get and compete. Because now what happened wasn't working the first time. And he's been in control ever since he got out the ring from that first fight. And has shown it in every press conference, even up until now. This is not disrespect to Tyson Fury. I'm saying he's been fighting an uphill battle where normally he's fighting to reclaim the hill, or he's fighting to retain the hill. It's different when you're at the top of the. It's different when you're king of the hill versus when you're climbing up. You can defend being at the top, but when you're not at the top, you're not at the top. And right now, he's not at the top, both in title and in the mental warfare. He's not. But he's fighting back, and this is the biggest swing we saw with that 10-minute situation where he was indeed looking and fighting and staring Fury down. Staring Usyk down. My bad. Staring Usyk down. And make sure. Okay, I don't want to. Okay, yeah, I just had to make sure nothing was on my nose. But instead of staring him down, he had to. This was him willing himself to get there. Willing himself to be where he needed to be. Willing himself to be what he needed to be in order to be able to compete inside the ring, It's an uphill fight that Usyk has now been defending the top of the hill, king of the hill, that normally is where Tyson Fury resides, outside the ring, outside with the mental skate. Will that affect inside of the ring? We won't know until the fight night. What we will know is every time we see these people come out up into the weigh-in, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. Going to be a battle outright. And hey, some people may think he wins nothing. Some people may think he wins outright. Some people think he loses and gets knocked out. Some people think he wins. But all I know, we're going to have a fight. And we're going to see what happens. Trust me. Mark my words. But with all that being said, we are working up to 2 hours and 32 minutes. And I think it's time to wrap it up, show. I think this is about it. I think we've reached the end of the show. I think we reached a time when, hey, we've done all we can. We've done all we could do. And we have legitimately, I think this has been a great show. I think this has been a phenomenal show. So thank you for tuning in and listening to the show. Again, appreciate all your comments and all of your chats thus far. And yeah, Usyk, as you say, Rich, you're absolutely right. Usyk Usyk is not a Deontay Wilder. Usyk is not a breed unlike any other. But also so is Tyson Fury. So we're looking at a situation where two behemoths are now looking to claim the throne once again. And this fight will be a fight for the ages. My gosh. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but I'm saying it's going to be an absolute war for anybody to witness. And I can't wait to talk about it all with you once it happens after this weekend. And if we do a live fight, if we do achieve and do a live fight call, and I can get this situated, we can make it happen, we'll make it happen. And I'll let you know. Absolutely. No question in my mind. We'll make that happen. No doubt about it. But until then, this has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show. Y'all have been wonderful. Y'all have been beautiful. We have had a phenomenal outing, a phenomenal time talking about boxing, talking about basketball, talking about what will happen in the mega fight of Fury and Usyk. It's happening this Saturday. Get excited. Get ready. We're going to be here to talk about it all. Mark my words, but trust and believe. Next week, we're going to talk about the result of it. We're going to talk about the implications of it. And we're going to talk about the winner, the loser, everything in between, and setting up more fights to come, setting up more basketball games to come, going through the landscape of sports as a whole. We will discuss and we will continue to debate, talk, have fun, and all make this the best show it can be. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Leave a like on the video. Go listen to us on every podcasting platform. And I will see you all next week. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. See you all next week or potentially this Saturday. Like the stream already to get it and share it with everybody that you know to get into listening to the hottest show in all the globe. And we'll be back for another episode sooner rather than later. And I'll catch you all next time. Be safe, have fun, get excited for the fights, and we'll see you all